Because you've got powerful legs. How'd you get the physique? Was it gym or how'd you get the physique?
I've always been.
She's actually not got powerful legs. Do you shower in your dressing room? Do you have a shower on the day of a fight or not? Tell us about the tattoos.
Shut the fuck up, you little prick.
But then I've got the Phoenix.
Hey, prick.
So I'll take it from Bob every day of the week.
Absolute disgrace.
That's your knowing mind.
Move him out of here, there.
Ricky Hatton didn't go over for his fighter because he risked getting abducted and sold into sexual
I never said that.
Both have been rape victims. I'm not watching Frank Buglioni live on Saturday night. You're out of your mind.
Jesus Christ, get yourself a life.
He's actually a priest.
Yeah.
It's because his brother John Fury eye gouged him.
What have I told you all this time? He's going to end up sucked out, fucked out, looking for a handout.
Boxing nutters messenger group. I'm gonna be the king.
J-Pump. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hello everybody and welcome to the 545th edition of the Boxing Asylum Nuthouse podcast. I'm your host Steve Wellings, and joining us on the call we have Matty DiGialinardo, Andy Patterson and Donny Baseball, going live on YouTube from 8 o'clock every Sunday evening. The ad-free Patreon RSS feed updates shortly after the show concludes. Don't forget to listen during the week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Sports Social, all those other good places as well, and leave a review on the podcast player of your choice. We're in October at the moment. Times are going to be changing next weekend. Nothing less than 5 stars is acceptable. We had a good fight over the weekend between Alexis Rocha and Giovanni Santillan. Isaac Chamberlain as well. He's the new British champion. If you manage to get to the end of that one, good luck to you. Tyson Fury fighting in Riyadh next weekend and a load more. We've also, I was saying to the Nutters earlier, got a cracking value of the week coming up later. Lots of funny entries have come in on Twitter and the Nutters group, etc. So stick around or watch the cut video tomorrow evening. We are going to start with Catterall Linares, but first of all, let me just say something to you. If you want to leave a super chat or buy us a coffee or join the Patreon or whatever, there is no better reason, Matty, than to do so than this, because you may have heard last night we had a Nutters call-in chat. If not, go over to YouTube, go over to wherever you listen to your podcast and listen to it. That recording was the 999th video upload on the channel. 999. So what does that make tonight, Matty? What video? What is this upload number we are on tonight? This is the big 1,000.
That's a big deal right there, Steve. That's many uploads. That's incredible. I mean that's if you had one load per year, that would be 3 loads per day. Actually, that's a lot of loads.
Back in the day, you were the main man starting off the podcast. Kurt has put all different types of videos up. We've had Bellew of the Weeks, extra episodes, punches from the past, midweek madness as well, post-fight podcasts. They have all come together. A small cause for celebration, if ever I heard one. Not episode 1000, it's episode 545, but upload or live video number 1000 tonight. So a little celebration nonetheless. Anyway,
1,000 videos. I think you could retire if you want to, Steve. At this point in time,
oh, yeah.
I think there's a way out. Really at any time that you want at this moment. So,
well, I always said that I wouldn't go past episode 1000. I would stop it at that. I wouldn't never broadcast, not upload 1000. Boy, are you giving me a loophole here to get out, Matty?
Yeah, why not? Just if you ever need that exit strategy, Steve, it is there. I don't know what manner the boxing would have to sink to for you to call it early, because we've already experienced so much, and yet here you are. But you never know. So let's see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
I have watched some shit over the years, I must say. In an unrelated matter, let's move on to the Echo Arena in Liverpool last night. Jack Catterall scoring a 12-round decision win over Jorge Linares. It was a shutout, says Eddie Hearn. Well, it was 116, 112 on two of the cards and 117, 111 on the other. Andy, there's no doubt in my mind Jack Catterall is a very talented fighter, but there's a saying in the writing business, show, don't tell. Every time we see Catterall, the commentary team are always repeating the same lines about how skilled he is. We've got the Carl Frampton walked into the gym story and watched him outskill someone in sparring. We need to see that now. We need to see the devil. We need to see the killer instinct, that punctuation mark on the end of the sentence.
Yeah, just something to kind of get the tongues wagging a little bit. I mean, obviously he's lost all kind of like momentum behind the Josh Taylor victory that was stolen from him. Taylor's trolling him still to this day about it. He's been trolling him about the performance there last night. I was honest with you guys last night. I did not watch anything of that Sky card or the DAZN card live there last night. I kind of caught the highlights package. I seen enough of it to see that Linares. You could have asked the question, or you could have said to him, look, after the Ngannou knockout, it was time to go. After the Abdullayev knockout, it was definitely time to go. And after last night, there's no doubt when you got a guy there who is both are talented fighters, obviously. I mean, know what Linares was when he was at his peak, but he isn't that guy anymore. He couldn't get the shots off. And if you just say that if it was like an Abdullayev character, for example, someone who was more aggressive, on the front foot, a wee bit more a dig about him, he would have had Linares out of there. He had him hurt. What was it late? It was definitely late. Was it round 10? I think it was. He hurt him.
And the fifth, he was definitely hurt in the fifth, I think.
He
as
was
well.
dangling for the rope.
In the fifth round, I think it was right at the end of the round. He might have been the 10th as well, to be honest, with the Lowell Chamberlain card, and I was kind of switching off by then. He could well have been hurt in the 10th as well.
Aye. Obviously, again, he had nothing. He couldn't pull the trigger. Marking up as it was his usual signature and that as well. It's definitely time. Well, he's retired now anyway, so thankfully that's it.
He says he has.
Well, I know. Unless Eddie comes calling another bag for him, I suppose. But hopefully he stays true to his word. What is he, 37, 38? I was watching back some of his fights in that early half of the year and watched the footwork was sublime. But as I say, after the Ngannou fight, you could definitely have said to him, look, because he got handled there badly against Catterall in one round. And then obviously he's took that's 4 L's now in about as many months. How many is that? About 4 L's in 2 years, possibly, I think it is. A lot of miles on the clock now as well. So, he's had a few bad beatings. He's took some punishment as well, trying to get fights over the line and that as well. So, hopefully he stays true to his word. But as for Catterall, look, he got the job done. He got the win. That's the main thing. But again, it's nothing great, and it's again nothing great in terms of who he's facing. Because obviously he's a finished fighter, but what happens to him now? What's his options? We don't know. I mean, what's happened with Teofimo Lopez? Is he coming back? Would you put Catterall in with Matias? That's a big ask.
Well, Matias was supposed to be fighting on the 4th of November against this Shoajon Ergashev. That's now apparently being moved to the Benavidez Andrade undercard. Richardson Hitchens is in-house at Andy. Why can't they make that?
Yep.
Because nobody wants to see Richardson Hitchens.
Yeah,
I said that's a good card. That Benavidez. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a pay to win. I mean, easy win, boxed beautifully, but I don't think a lot of people are signing up to see him.
No,
again.
I just realised what I've called for. Catterall against Richardson Hitchens, man. I think I should end the stream right now. Never mind, episode 1000. Sorry, Andy.
I told you you're hitting the wall, Steve.
To be honest, look, listen. I think with some of the comments flying about in that as well, and we've seen like some of these networks closing down, stop showing boxing and that. Oscar's made a move, trying to get other promoters to make these fights, cross-border fights, so to speak. These fights are going to happen, mate. Because what else is for? Who else Catterall else going to fight? If he's not going to fight Hutchinson, who else is he going to fight realistically? If he's not going to do business with Oscar, he's not going to fight Ryan Garcia, who I think has got a fight lined up, I believe.
The Linares rematch, maybe. It was close. Still 10th, and then he shoe shined the last couple, Catterall.
Garcia could get caught by Duarte, to be honest with you, too.
I like to see Eddie maybe try and make the Jose Ramirez fight for Catterall.
Yeah, that'd be a good fight.
It's a good marker for him. Ex-world champion. He's trying to get himself back onto that pedestal as well. we all know he's about. It would be a tough fight, and I think he would bring the best out in Catterall as well. It would give him a wee bit of that fear factor because Ramirez is a come forward fighter. He's good in the pocket, and Catterall will need to find moments in that fight where he's going to hurt him. Or he's going to basically stand his ground from time to time. So until he's going to get a world title fight, I mean, Prograis fighting is it Haney?
Haney on the 9th of December.
And that's for the 140 belt, eh?
Mm.
And then Rolly Romero, I mean, he's got a fight arranged as well, I believe.
Well, he was meant to be fighting O'Hara Davis, is he, I think?
That's at the mandatory, aye.
Mm.
So there's well that fight there, but it wasn't great to watch. It wasn't a great advert to say like must watch TV. I think even Teddy Atlas said as well, good boxer, zero power, and it would be a bit of a problem.
Kaiser Cobra is making problems in the chat. He's thrown in a tenner. He says, why not? Happy 1,000. Very much to Mr. Cobra. Ryan Deal as well, our Photoshop, head of our Photoshopping department, has thrown in $5 New Zealand. He was on the Nuthouse call last night.
Tell
as
you
well.
what, he is. See him, by the way. I'm starting to get worried with the AI material going about these days. That man, that guy's going to end up being lethal. He's going to end up causing carnage.
Donny's going to be a deep fake on tonight.
Oh, what man do they know?
He says, anyway, this is Ryan Deal says, who better placed on our panel to be the ambassador for women's boxing than Gareth A. Davis? Absolutely. Keep an eye out for that one and Bellew the week later. Ricky Graville hasn't sent a message. No such time for that frivolity. He's straight to the point with a $4.99. Thank you very much to you, Richard. ABC says in better production on a welcome estates ad. I don't know whether he's talking about us or DAZN. Matty, Yimmy Yappy, that's James Tapner, says Catterall doesn't let his hands go. He's boring. Jorge Linares didn't let his hands go either. He's not boring. He just can't do it anymore. And I find that sad to see.
And I think that they combined to throw less punches than only one Sandoval, Steve. I don't know what to tell you, man. I watched a few rounds late, and Catterall just doesn't have the killer instinct. You're going the distance with this version of Jorge Linares, especially above his best weight. You're just missing something. And although I thought he won that Taylor fight, I think it goes to show that his passive actions in the ring, can definitely bite him in the ass. Against this Jorge Linares, no. But against the top tier of the division, yeah, you're not going to sneak by a Regis Prograis that way. That's for sure.
But Linares says he's retired now. Hopefully he'll stick to his word. Josh Taylor, Catterall, Matty, that's the fight they're talking about. Surely Eddie's going to try and make that. I'm not sure what Taylor's promotional situation is at the moment, but they're going to have to make that. Either way, Catterall has been guilty of inactivity, both in the ring and out the ring. He's got to get busy. If they can't make that Taylor fight, he's got to fight somebody else.
Yeah, he's been chasing that fight for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, shit or get off the pot. And I don't think Catterall's the biggest guy either. So I don't know that going up to welterweight's going to do him any good. I think that if he's going to fight Taylor again, it'll probably be at some sort of a catch weight, 144-ish probably. So yeah, if he wants, he needs to decide if he's going to be more consumed with revenge against Josh Taylor for that dubious decision, or if he's going to be more consumed with actually having a legitimate world strap around his waist.
I was going to go to Donny, but the chat, sorry, Matty, I'll stick with you a second. The chat are mentioning a few different things. Easter Barthélemy, one of the worst fights of all time, absolutely. But you mentioned about Catterall maybe moving up in weight, and then someone said about Catterall wanting at 144, Taylor at 147. It's hard to keep up, I think, sometimes with these guys, isn't it? Someone might say, oh, so-and-so's up at 147 now, and you'd be like, you might have heard him mention that a few months ago. Then the fight's so irregularly, like about Andy mentioned about Lopez. Is he still a champion? What weight's he fighting at? I don't even know, and I'm sitting here talking about boxing every Sunday night. Maybe I've gone complete casual or what, but do you find it hard to keep up with the comings and goings sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, even Donnie, I mean, he was there and gone in like 3 seconds. So that was bizarre. It's, I think it goes to show that the fights can be made between weights. And I think the boxers and the promoters are kind of giving it away themselves that, oftentimes it doesn't matter, like they did with Bam Rodriguez, go pick up a title at 115, then go back down to 112, okay, it doesn't really matter what weight he's at, it's just a skillful guy. So, at that point in time, they keep making these fights more meaningless as far as the titles go and things of that. So again, I think it comes down to the fans, the hardcores. They know what a competitive fight is when they see it, and sometimes they're surprised too. But we just have to go with our gut, and of course they're serving up a whole lot of dog shit to us on a daily basis. It seems like, Steve, but at the same time, guys who pays attention like you and I know that a fight like Rocha against Santillan is going to be the goods, no matter what anybody else is thinking.
Crying like a little bitch.
That's us. That's us on Sunday evenings. We're crying, but not about Rocha Santillan. That was a great fight, Matty. He's quite right. Des was on the Nuthouse call last night. He's throwing in a little comment here. He says, when you consider how Kevin Mitchell fought against Linares when he was in his prime and the way Catterall approached him last night, it tells you all you need to know about different fighters' mindsets. Donnie's mindset's all over the place at the moment. It's hard to get him. It's hard to get him focused, but he's back to boxing. And who would have thought, Donnie, the fight that brought you back was Jack Catterall against Jorge Linares. It's fair to say we might not be hearing from you for another couple of years after this spectacle.
Donnie was in and out there like a trailer park father. That was terrible.
Wait, what's going on with my connection?
I don't know, but we can hear you now, and that's the main thing.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't call it the fight that brought me back. It was just that I had a chance to sit down unencumbered by wife and kids for a couple of hours to take in the fight, and it was in the afternoon, which was nice. So I mean, honestly, I enjoyed watching Catterall's boxing display. I know that people are saying he lacks a killer instinct, and it's true. I mean, where have you seen a fight with Linares been badly cut and his face is all swelled up, and especially at this version of him has less punch resistance. I mean, it's a fight that he should probably finish, but after the fight he openly admitted, he said, look, the guy still has power, and I was being careful in there because I don't want to blow what I have coming to me. I mean, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he said that in the post-fight interview. While we sometimes enjoy when fighters take risks, you could understand why, maybe he was being a little bit cautious here, because he knows that the Josh Taylor rematch or potentially a world title fight is on the horizon. Hopefully he is willing to give away enough to make that happen, because none of the world titleists or Josh Taylor, who I believe Eddie Hearn said was with Bob Arum, those are not easy fights to make. And so hopefully he'll be willing to make the sacrifices necessary to make them, whether it be with a rematch clause or, with anything else. But I did think that he was good to watch if you like, if you appreciate the technical elements of what's going on in there. I like the way he used his jab and would slip just out of range, to avoid the counters. I understand that he was, against the guy in there who clearly was well past his best, but nonetheless, I mean, it still was. I still appreciated watching it, and I, would like to see him obviously do it again, either with Taylor or with one of the world champions, and see if he can bring that type of craft and elevate it to another level against an elite opponent. With so many fighters, obviously these days, that's always the question. Can they do it against an elite opponent? And it takes so goddamn long to make, which makes us frustrated, as well it should. I do enjoy watching him as a fighter, and I'm not entirely convinced that he has no power. I mean, he clearly did have Linares pretty badly hurt at the end of the fifth round. He did jump on him, but he didn't really follow that up in the sixth. Whether it was because he thought that Linares was all the way back, or for whatever reason, but I think he can hit. I just think that he's a careful fighter, is what it comes down to. And sometimes that doesn't always make for the best television, but he got out of there with a win.
Donnie, Andy was asking there in the private chat, why did Linares end up fighting Crawler twice? We know that between Joe G and Eddie Hearn, they grifted at that second opportunity. If Linares indeed does hang his gloves up now, Donnie, what was your favourite Jorge moment?
Oh, geez. Didn't he have a comeback win where he was down and he was hurt with his eyes swelling up? I'm trying to
Kevin
remember.
Mitchell fight maybe in London, was that?
Oh, that was a good one, but I was thinking of one other one. It wasn't Ponce de Leon, was it?
I don't flip me. You might be going back then to that one.
I don't think Linares ever fought PDL.
No, I don't think so. He wouldn't have been down that far. Lomachenko fight was good for as long as it lasted, wasn't it, Don?
Yeah, it was. Let me just see. Just bringing up Linares' box rec here. Just give me 1 second. My memory is getting away from me.
He's had a lifetime of careers. I mean, I'm going back here. Oscar Larios, Gamaliel Diaz, Rocky Juarez, Jesus Chavez, Antonio DeMarco. He's gone through a couple of generations, really. 21 years in total.
Oh, wow. Looking here.
He's got a nice wife too, Donnie. That's a plus point.
Yeah, that's very much. Yeah, I guess maybe I was thinking of the Mitchell one, I guess, but
the Arakawa fight, I remember he beat the absolute dog shit out of him, but he kind of like went a distance with him.
That was a good one, yeah.
Also, the surprise win, over Luke Campbell.
I don't know if that was a surprise win. That was a defense, wasn't it?
That was a good fight. That was a good fight.
It was closer than we thought.
The Mitchell fight was a good one, though. That was a really good fight.
Yeah.
Oscar Larios.
Oscar Larios,
that was way back. I dominated that fight.
That was, wasn't it?
One of the most impressive things about him is that he was touted for superstardom ahead of the fucking DeMarco fight, and then lost 2 on the spin, and then kind of went back and did it the hard way, back to Japan, fucking worked his way up, and eventually came back to kind of dominate for a small time. I just think he was fucking fantastic. Linares' style, even though there was only it's like fucking watching the soccer stars when they come back to do the fucking sixes and they've got a bit of a belly and they can't do the tricks anymore. That's what it looked like on that fight last night as a main event. Linares could still do his thing and there was still remnants of his old style on display, and he's still a fantastic fighter, but he's fucking 37 years of age and he shot the bits and he'd no fucking business being in the ring at the back end of 2023 propping up a fucking main event card, which Catterall is just I just thought that was a terrible look. None of them gained anything from it. I mean, Linares finished on his feet and ended his career last night. Career to be proud of. Fantastic fighter on the eye. Fucking ran a prime Lomachenko razor thin until he got stopped. And that fight for me, even though he lost, just showed how good he was. That technically he was fucking outstanding.
World-class skills, world-class vulnerability, I always thought.
Exactly. Yes. And for that reason, he was always in an exciting fight because you're never quite sure what's going to happen, whether his fucking skin is going to whether his skin's going to fall apart or whether he's just going to fucking devastate and dominate with combinations and flashy stuff. So yeah, best of luck to Linares in retirement, but it was a bad Saturday night, wasn't it? Bring back fucking Frank Buglioni. That's what I say.
The problem was with him is I think he was kind of on that middle area where he didn't get to fight a lot of the guys where it would have been interesting to see him. And then he was a little bit ducked avoid because you look like around the weight classes he was at the time. I mean, he could have fought Morales, Pereira, Marquez, Pacquiao. None of those happened. The guy that you loved that couldn't keep us, Guzman against Linares. Fucking Rob talks about Lomachenko, Linares being boxing porn. Prime Guzman against Linares. That's some serious shit right there. That's like a handful of Viagra.
I remember that Lomachenko fight when the judge is sitting ringside and they're captioning him. His eyes are actually popping out his head, but he's watching, man. Honestly, it's that high class technical shit, man, that you only get. You get it very seldom these days when you got 2 world class technical fighters going at it. Chess match, but it's not like a boring boxing match. It's actually like high class,
exactly like a basketball match. It was like fucking turnover, like a combination exchange with a combination, a fade tear, a fucking move. And Linares was in the. I hate this fucking terminology because it always gets thrown around in boxing. He was winning until he lost. He might have been winning on all the cards, but he was in the ascendancy until that body shot in towards the end of the fight. But I would have liked to see that fight again. To be honest with you, I think that merited a rematch, but Linares didn't command that kind of revenue, so it wasn't going to happen. But I would have definitely watched it again. It was fucking fantastic. That.
Rob, I spoke to you about Linares. Matt Butters there on the screen says Catterall has built a career off being robbed by Joshua Taylor. Are we really surprised he's gone nowhere?
Yeah, like I was thinking about that last night after
Joshua
the fight.
You fuck.
I was thinking about this last night when I was watching it because I tell you what, right? I'm that disconnected with the shitty fucking fights that are being broadcasted. I was actually watching Chamberlain thinking that it was the fucking warm up for the Catterall and Linares fight while missing Catterall and Linares. And let me tell you something, that fucking Chamberlain fight was painful as well. Fucking hell.
I went to bed, man. I was tweeting from my bed at one point. I was like, fuck this
no,
shit.
honestly, like fucking. Anyway, we'll come back to that. But what the fuck was the question again?
Something to do with
Chamberlain.
Chamberlain.
You watched Isaac Chamberlain.
So I don't know if Catterall is boxed out of his skin on the night and made Josh Taylor look bad, or is Josh Taylor on the slide based on he was dead at the weight, and then when he moved up to 140 it kind of wasn't there again, or still when he fought Teofimo kind of wasn't there. So I don't know if that was Catterall's best performance. He didn't look great against Darragh Foley either, to be honest with you. He did his thing, he got by, he was competent, but they were selling that one like, oh, he's shaking off the ring rust. You know, Catterall, he's just having a keep busy fight while he waits for Josh Taylor. And then, like, Linares, like, he's fucking the ghost of Linares. Like, and he's like, he didn't try to make a statement. I felt like Linares can punch a bit as well. I felt like he found him a little bit and he just was a little bit hesitant to kind of put his foot on the gas and go for the stoppage. He was catching Linares a lot, like, with it, but his reflexes are diminished and that. Like, and I think it was Days or someone in the chat put a really good point. And shout to the boys, by the way, who've been doing the extra work. You're all really, really good. I don't know why they don't just fucking come on Sunday night. Fucking take the pressure off us here. Fuck me. But Des was saying, like, surely, like, Catterall is going to realise that the benchmark for fucking beating Crawler is his performances against, or for Lars is his performances against Crawler and Luke Campbell. Like, and he's not. I know Linares got the win in those situations, but he didn't look hugely impressive, Catterall. It's a main event. It was very underwhelming. I don't think it fucking sold either. And I don't know what he gains from that. Like, Linares gets his moment because he gets to finish on his feet. But other than that, what does it say about Catterall? Like, he couldn't fucking finish off Linares, who in his first venture to 140 was fucking iced in one round by Ngannou 4 years ago. So I don't know. Like,
Donny, final point to you. I'm worried about losing you, Donny. Are you there? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
All right, okay. Linares was a boogeyman for Sky, says Paul123. He says, ruined all their plans for Mitchell, Crawler and Campbell. Last night was them offing him once and for all.
Eddie having his revenge, perhaps? No, I don't know. I will just say, though, as a final word that, frankly, I mean, we all know that the robbery against Taylor was epic. And, I mean, I've seen what I need to see with respect to that fight. I think it still goes the same way if they do that over again. I'd just rather just see him fight one of the titleists at this point. I understand why Eddie and him might want that. It might be easier to make, and it probably does very well commercially. But as a fan, I don't think I have a need to see that again. I'd rather just see him take on one of the titleists.
Donny, we've done Linares Catterall now. I know you didn't catch too much from the weekend, but I do want to get your opinion just in case you have to leave us on the fight next weekend. Tyson Fury hasn't fought this title all year as a heavyweight. He's going to fight this Ngannou in Riyadh next Saturday evening. Is it carnival? Is it an innovative move? Is it holding up the heavyweight division? What's your thoughts on this fight?
He can go fuck himself. That's my...
You're not paying $80, Donny?
No, yeah.
You're paying $80, Matty.
I'm not. I just can't. I just fucking can't.
Yeah, on general principle, yeah, I can't even do the Matty support the sport. No, I can't support this. That's how bad this is. You either fight Usyk or you fucking retire. You do one of those two things. Otherwise, I'm not interested. I mean, the only thing potentially, because I'm sick, I would want to maybe see a fourth Wilder fight, just because the rest of them were so good. I could go for that, but really it's really Usyk or retirement at this point. And for a guy that I always, for a long time I was pretty convinced he cared about his legacy, and I think he did. I think he does. but I don't understand why he's waiting this thing out so much. I just think it needs to be done. And every fight that happens between then and the ultimate prize there, which would be the undisputed heavyweight title. Everything else is frankly a waste of his time and of ours. And I see no reason to even pay it any mind.
Let's stick with this for a second then. In that case, Matty, Donnie mentioned about not even paying for it to support the sport. But in this case, if you did pay for it, would you be supporting the sport? What sport exactly would you be supporting if you bought it?
I don't fucking know, Steve. I probably the Misfits boxing, right? Like I I feel like there's something just a little off with it all, and I'd like to believe it's probably on the up and up, and everything will go fine. And Ngannou's just after a payday and such, but it's just for me, I can't spend $80 to $85 on this, knowing that it doesn't have any real meaning as far as the sport that I love. So I guess we'll see what happens with it. Maybe there's something crazy that happens. Maybe Ngannou shocks the world and we all missed out on it. But at the end of the day, I think the problem is, Steve, is we're not interested in it. We're not paying for it. You guys never pay for anything anyways, but I know. But the people who normally would pay for something that's a bigger event or something like that, that are on the real hardcore boxing end, they're probably not going to get this one. But the people that buy a Jake Paul fight probably would. The people who buy UFC fights probably would. So if this fight is a rousing success, why is Fury not going to do it? It's a high reward and low risk. And the problem is that the market will probably prop them up on this one, as appalled as we are with the fight as boxing fans.
See, it would just be typical boxing. It's not going to happen though, is it? Right? I mean, hopefully no, but Ngannou's not going to land there. I mean, if Wilder can't fucking knock out Fury, man,
in
then
3 attempts,
then Ngannou's not going to do it. But say he does, it would be quite funny though, that we've waited and danced and waltzed all this way within months it potentially happening, and it gets taken for us at the last minute. But lack of stars in the sport, mate. We've got lack of top stars coming through. No pay-per-view fighters. Eddie is trying to push this Conor Ben fight desperately. He's got to try and get that fight made.
He's using the fact that Fury and Ngannou might be legitimised by the board or something, or the fact they're having the British title as a reason why Conor Ben's been so hard done to, because he's been cleared. He said on the video last night.
Aye. Well, we'll get to that at a later date.
I think that Eddie's getting ready to get some comeuppance with this, because I personally thought that after having really adjusted to making the weight, and not having odd back-to-back weird camp things, I think obviously Eubank Jr. looked fantastic in his most recent fight, and I thought that that Ben looked tremendously undersized at 154 in his comeback fight. So I think Eddie's thinking in there that Ben's going to build his name off of Eubank Jr. And I think Eubank definitely has it in the bag this time, personally.
Andy, Chris Butler said Wilder's got 1 foot out the door. Well, joke's on Wilder, because he needs to get back into the door, because according to sources, Edward Hearn says that Wilder versus Joshua is going to happen in March 2024, sorry. So Wilder's going to have to get his ass back into boxing quick.
I see me that you said 23 first, then meant 24. I know where your mistakes here have been made, mate, because you've been hearing these conflicting reports from some person, I don't know who, for so long, saying it's going to be happening in 2 weeks and 3 weeks and 6 months and that. I mean, Dave Lee was talking to me, Eddie said, Ozzy was talking to me as well, Eddie said, and then what happens? Nothing happens, because Eddie said that is the fucking problem. When Eddie says, fucking fact check it, right? Any tweet you see Eddie involved in, make sure it's got a fact check at the bottom of it, because that is what you need. Offer was on the table, apparently. We all know this, for Wilder against Joshua, and there's been some sort of changes in Saudi Arabia in terms of who looks after the sport, or whoever's making these offers, that type of thing.
I've heard rumors of Brock Lesnar fighting Deontay Wilder too, Andy.
What?
Yes, I heard.
Where?
Yeah, I can't remember where I heard it. And considering Ngannou against Fury is happening, I didn't dismiss it whatsoever. Why wouldn't they make Deontay Wilder against Brock Lesnar?
What discipline like? Boxing.
Boxing.
Fucking hell! Look, Lesnar's a fucking phenom in terms of size, not the ring, but I think it's safe to say Wilder lands one right hand on him by it's probably good night.
Definitely good.
If it's a wrestling match, then obviously fucking Lesnar walks right through fucking Wilder.
You're going to watch Fury and Ngannou next Saturday, Andy? I'm going to watch it.
No,
we're having live post watch along.
No, I'm away, Rob. I'm not able to.
I might watch it, but it says I'll not be by legal means and that. Like,
are you going to watch it, Rob?
Probably, to be honest with you, it'd be more entertaining than fucking Isaac Chamberlain and fucking what's his name, Lawal.
You're desperate to get to that fight.
Exactly, man. He sat and watched that last night. He was actually even WhatsApping about it last night. I was in my bed. This Isaac Chamberlain fight's amazing.
I couldn't believe how bad it was for a main event on Sky on a Saturday night. Like, I know there was a fight pullout or something, wasn't there? Maybe there was another fight scheduled. All right, okay. Well, that blockbuster fell through, and then we were left with that. Like, goodness great. I mean, like, Chamberlain, I don't know, like, Ben Shalom signed a bunch of duds, hasn't he? Like, and Eddie couldn't do anything with this guy for a reason. Like, reluctance to step up the pressure, happy to go through the motions. There's about 4 people in the crowd. Sky are going to bin boxing. Like, they're following Showtime. Not that they're on the way out. Like, I cannot see an audience that would want to engage in that shit. Like,
even Joey Nelson isn't wanting involved in that shit anymore.
Genuinely, Misfits shows are more entertaining than that shit that was on Sky last night, without a doubt. Without a doubt, for the casual watcher and the hardcore, there's no way any hardcore fight fan was getting something out of watching that shit last night. No chance. Bring back Buglioni.
Andy,
that was the worst fight on that card, though, Rob. Like, something like that might have failed to entertain, but the preceding fights were exceptional.
Well, you'll have to tell me all about them because I didn't fucking see one of them.
The thing was, Andy, on sorry, just before I forget, on the main event, on paper, as Matt Butter says, Lawal Chamberlain was meant to be close on a 50-50 on paper. I would put it down more to Chamberlain did what he had to do, which wasn't very much, mainly because of Lawal's tactics. Was he injured? He seemed to me like it was like a Peter Obo performance. He seemed like a fighter who was putting in the motions, like a fuck you to the promoter. I'm not saying that was the case, but it felt like a sort of, he was like trying to make a statement. Why was he so passive and negative when he's an aggressive puncher usually?
I never have seen it, mate. I wasn't watching it. I went to bed. I was legit about that. I went to bed. I mean, CC's last night, even the European shows, everything else was pay-per-view. There was nothing worth watching. I say to you guys, that wasn't even worth watching it. I think Sky possibly even put that out free view as well, I think, possibly. But I went to my bed. I'm not kidding. I went to bed even before the chief supports even happened. I think I maybe even, what did I even catch up on?
You know, Steve, that the what happened with that is I think it looked like it was evenly matched, and the odds were pretty close when it opened up. But slowly the money moved towards Chamberlain on that one, and it seemed to just come down to experience at the end of the day. And when you looked at the two fighters in the ring, they kind of, like, on the outset might have appeared evenly matched, but it seemed like in every category, the Chamberlain was just better than Lawal. Maybe evenly matched a bit on speed, but he was bigger, he was stronger, he was sharper, he had a better punch selection. And it just seemed like one of those fights where after a few rounds where Lawal just kind of realized he was going to lose. He was just simply outmatched. The other guy had a better chin than he did. There was probably a shot in there that he felt at some point in time. And and it goes to show why the guy with the less glossy record came in as the favorite in the fight for sure.
I think that's actually a fair enough assessment, Matty, to be honest. Like, I would then say, why didn't Lawal sell out? But people react to things differently. He obviously thought to himself at some point, which seemed to be after about the first 90 seconds, I'm going to coast. I'm not going to get hurt. I'm going to get out of here after a 12-rounder. Other guys would have said, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to throw all I can and empty the tank for 6 rounds. Lawal went at it a different way. Matty, I think you might be right, you know.
Well, you know, after as Sir Carl said after the Durrell fight, he's not a warrior. That's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, he's not a warrior. Where's he gonna get? Donnie, I keep
That's the
losing.
weirdest thing. You like Donnie. I don't even think you realize you bounce in and out, and I
Hang
don't
on,
even think you
let me get him back,
realize.
Matty. Here we are. You there, Don? Sorry, I couldn't resist that one. Did you catch Llewellyn Chamberlain, Donnie? Donnie?
Can you hear me?
Vaguely, just about.
Here, maybe I'll reset my connection or something.
Okay.
Okay, that'll do.
Get the Mrs. Litch out of the cupboards with a Stella.
And to be fair, if you're already dressed like that, Rob, don't you think that you would try to keep her locked away in darkness?
Controversial. Rob's not biting on that one. Tell us about the undercard, Matty. You saw Sam Gilly against Louis Green. Good fight. Mick Hennessy Jr. against Joe Laws. Good fight, actually. In fact, I think I had a little screenshot from Joe Laws. Let me just bring that up, Matty, quickly before you go on. He said, stick £10 on Hennessy, you get about £11.82 back. Stick £10 on me, you get a 50. New pair of Crocs, holiday for 3 at Costa del Sol, and a year's supply of links. Fuck me, Brett Fred. You better think you must think I'm a right donkey. Ha! Well, the joke was on everybody else because he done the business.
Well, he opened up. He did open up, paying about 4 to 1, and I'll tell you, by fight time, he was down to about 2 to 1. They just smelled the upset on that one. A lot of the UK money clearly just hopped right on that one, and I don't know that his tweet influenced one way or another. We've seen fighters say many things, but he got in there and he just kind of out-pro'd him at the end of the day. And I thought Hennessy did some good stuff in there. It was one of those things where, as a young fighter, I don't know that I would come away from that fight feeling embarrassed. There's things he needs to tighten up on. He can still develop. I'm not saying he's going to be a world champion or European champion, but I think he's a guy with some development. He could have a chance to be a British Commonwealth champion under the right circumstances. You never know, because he is young. There's a lot there. He's got all sorts of resources around him, I'm sure. He just got a little bit loose in there with certain things and was foolish at times. When he came in behind a jab, everything seemed to work out pretty well for him when he decided to be offensive. When he didn't, he got caught. When he decided to just lay on the ropes, he was getting caught. But still, all those, I think you look at it, the grand scheme of things, he'll clearly have a level, but I think that he can improve on them. But Laws, it just seems to be a good quality pro. He just goes in there and he works. He knows how to fight as a shorter fighter, finding some funky angles for his shots, and it all worked out for him at the end of the day. Hats off to both of them. I hope something good happens for Laws coming up. He earned it, and Hennessy did well enough, and he's in good shape. I think we should start calling him Slim Mick, considering what we call his father.
Enjoy it while you can, little Mick. We've seen your future, and it don't look too good, but he put in
the
a good
heavyweight division.
Exactly. Exactly. Matt Butters said, role of a promoter is to put on the best fights possible. If we agree it was a 50-50 on paper, then we can't blame Shalom for it stinking on this occasion. Des says, Lawal is the classic case of knocking people over don't always help you when you level off. Quigg discovered that against Frampton. And MB says that's the precedent for Sky now for what a Saturday show should look like. 3 well-matched fights. One thing that was going on at ringside, Rob, during the Lawal Chamberlain fight was there was a lot of high-pitched shouting, and very much similar to last weekend. We've got to the bottom of Shriekgate in the Tim Zhu versus Brian Mendoza
Sorry,
fight.
I said he was fucking his sister. I'm embarrassed. I, for one, am embarrassed.
In case you were wondering, Rob, it was Tim Zhu's sister infuriating the boxing world with non-stop ringside shrieking. It is a bit of an epidemic in boxing, the ringside shriek. Are you a fan? Rob? Clearly not. That one fell quite fat. But there is no sisterly... There's no sisterly...
Why do we even try, Steve? We do like all this setup and then, hey, where are you at? Oh, sorry, I had to go pee. Oh,
that's usually me, to be fair, so I'm not going to slag anybody off for that one.
Yeah, but you're pretty good at putting it in the chat, at least.
Well, the main chat.
Andy said he'd be right back. We didn't touch on Gilly versus Green, which was also a really good fight. I didn't think that I thought the cards were a bit wide on that one. I kind of thought that the knockdown might ultimately be the deciding factor in the fight on the cards, but ended up being much wider than that. But Green never stopped trying, but Gilly just, showed his size, showed a little bit more punching power, I think. And then he also did better at distance. But that was a really good scrap. That one was in the Nutters picks of the week right there. I can't even remember what way I won on that one off the top of my head, but that was it really was entertaining fare on there. Even had a knockout and or a stoppage, at least a women's fight where chick kept getting floored. It was pretty entertaining fare until the main event. The main event failed to deliver, but so it goes. They don't always, and it was supposed to be behind Ziz versus Boazzi, which I really do think will be a good fight when it does come to fruition. This just didn't work out. It was the first foray onto Peacock side for Boxer. So we'll
the fucking last venture by Peacock.
We'll see what else ends up.
Isaac Chamberlain.
I'm just glad that I get to watch Parks and Recreation again. Definitely need some Ron Swanson in our lives from time to time. So not bad though. Like I said, the main event didn't deliver, but I think as a boxing fan, you definitely found yourself entertained during the first few fights on the card.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. In boxing, we need a
bit
of
easily entertained him, and he
oh, there you are. You were just getting a random crack, not when somebody gives you like a 30-second setup.
I didn't want to go back down to my Fritzl fucking conspiracy road again. I've visited too many times on the pod. It's time for a separate pod with me and Richard D. Hall, Anthony Crawler, and Steve.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I'm all over it. UAPs. Unidentified aerial phenomenon. There's a few aliens in the chat. Let's have a flick through quickly before we go to Matty on Brandon Glanton. Go ahead, Matty.
There'll also be on unidentified Arabs and Palestinians on that podcast.
We're not going to go there. We're going to Technique. He's in the chat. Shout out to Technique. Never seen him before. Hope he's enjoying himself. MB's here as well. So is Matt Butters, Dom Diddy, AP, Chris Butler, Mr. Dermo's jumped in. Shout out to him. We have Michael Thompson. We've got Des. We've got number one, Will You Stand 86, Paul 123, Jim McDonald Boxing, shout out to Take Ames as well. Who else have we got? Just scrolling on up here. CHR is with us. Good evening to you, sir. See if there's any of the usual suspects floating about in there. Number one, mentioned him as well. I don't think there's any other names, actually. Michael Thompson, did I shout him out? We'll give him another shout out anyway. Why not? David Mustard's there and Ben Russell. Bring back Nick Colostrom. We should get him on the pod. That would take you down a dark rabbit hole. Anyway, we're on to episode 545. I'm here. That's Steve, Andy's here, Matty, Rob Kelly, and Donny Baseball as well. Before we go on to Alexis Rocha against Santillan, Matty, Brandon Glanton on Wednesday evening against Pro Box. Not even going to make any excuses anymore. I just can't seem to watch these cards. He knocked out Cuba's Carlos Romero in the third round. Naji Lopez got a win as well, as did Darrell Valsant. Did you manage to catch this one on Pro Box, Matty?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I was looking through the comments in the chat there and kind of didn't get my name back. And yeah, I caught that. Glanton looked really solid in his win. Fermenta, I guess, despite his 12 wins in a row that he's had since his pro loss, he just didn't quite have what it took. It was against a little bit of soft competition. That was my curiosity on that one. Glanton moving forward, if he gets a fight against Billiam Smith, I think that'd be interesting. To see what would happen in that one. He seems to be doing a little bit more polish, maybe getting a little bit better, doing a little bit better work with not smothering himself quite as much. We'll see how that goes, because I think he definitely feels burned from the last loss against Glass and then against the Russian over in the Middle East when that was probably about a year ago now, I think, Steve. And then on that one also, you had Darrell Valsant on there, blast. That was the weirdest fucking thing with the referee in that one, Steve. Did you just? Oh my god! Did you see that?
No.
It was like he called couldn't tell if he was calling a knockdown, but he did it like 3 different times.
I think I remember this. It's like he was maybe waving the fight off, and then he didn't go down, and he got a kind of standing count or something like that.
Yeah, he was treating it like amateur, right?
I think so. He never went down the boy. It looked like he was hurt, and he just seemed to step in, and then he realised he made a mistake, and then he didn't know what to do, and then it was like, but the time he realised what he was doing, it was like a good 15 seconds had passed and let the guy recover.
Yeah, and then the round was over, and he just waved it off, and like, all right, because he was going to get knocked out anyways. Valsaint was just landing like a son of a bitch on him. I mean, he's got great power. He hasn't been tested yet. There's some people that are really getting on his nuts right now. I think he has a high ceiling potentially, but we haven't seen him against the quality of opposition we necessarily need to see him against at this point in time. And then there was another one on there, Steve. Let me see if I can find the other one. It was a surprisingly good fight against an undefeated guy against 73. No, that one was good too. The Tapia fight, actually, that was really entertaining. I almost forgot that one entirely. That was a heck of a good fight, but there was one in between there on that one, and the fighter going into it was 7-3. Let me look up Brandon Glanton. I could just go backwards from there. But it was just one of those ones where I was looking at the fights, and surprisingly, it was kind of opposite of what I thought it would be. You thought on paper the Glanton fight was probably going to be the most competitive one. And then it turned out that this one was quite competitive itself. And I am just 5 seconds away from seeing what that one was. It was Najee Lopez against Kaniel Wheeler. And that one, Najee Lopez, a good-looking, undefeated light heavyweight. And then I was like, going again against 77-3 guy. This isn't pro boxy kind of stuff. Well, and then this guy comes in there and he stands in, lands some great shots on Lopez, hurts him a couple of times, ends up getting stopped in the 4th round. But, when you go down and you check out his record and you pay a bit more attention to it, which I guess I should have, he had a majority decision loss to Ronald Gavril. And I mean, God, he might have won that one if we had, if you go back and take
a good level. Yeah.
Yep. And then he lost to, Becca Nurmagomedov, and I, God help me if I could remember how to pronounce the guy's name, but he's highly touted, strong amateur background. I think he might be an Uzbek if I recall. But so if you look, and then, he's got a win against a 12-0 guy on there as well. He lost to Juan Carrillo. When Carrillo was only 3-0, I think
he's decent. Seen him on Showbox cards.
Yep. He's still undefeated, 11-0. So I should have paid a little bit more attention on that one. Fuck me on that, because that turned out being a pretty good one. You need to quit underestimating Pro Box, because I hype their stuff, and then even when it looks like it might be crap, it turns out pretty damn decent. I mean, for a Wednesday card, this was fantastic. I think they're going to have 3 cards in November, because there's going to be 3 Wednesdays in November. Looking forward to that one. And we still don't know what their kind of rebrand kind of thing that they're going to be doing in the new year is. And I'm still hoping that that's something a little bit bigger than people are considering, because at this point in time, I mean, even getting free right now, if I was still paying the $2 a month, it's the best $2 a month I'd be spending on boxing by a long shot.
There you go, folks. You heard it here first. 3 Wednesdays in November. Matty's throwing the $2 around as well. Good Pro Box card for you. Andy, a bit of European action going on. Shout out to the VPNs of the world listening in. Firat Arslan with a 6th round win over Edin Pohalo.
As an underdog!
For the WBA Cruiserweight gold title. Not sure about Batagaziev over in Russia. That was on Thursday. I think I don't even know if it even took place against Ender Luka.
He won by 5th round stoppage, mate.
Okay, fair enough.
I looked at right back, guys. I have to be fair.
He's one to keep an eye on, I think, considering his Olympic pedigree and his the way he fought the Americans. There's a bit of a storyline there to be built future. Because Top Rank may be taking a look at him, I think.
He's also southpaw. He's good in his feet and that as well. Quite
good engine.
Just being held back by global politics a little bit. It's not only so many fighters that can go there and fight him, and vice versa.
Yeah, and as I say, he's only fighting like a kind of certain sector of fighters for certain areas of the world, like Brazil or like maybe another Eastern European sector or whatever. But
Panama,
Brazilians,
well,
Bosnians, that type of thing. Talking about Bosnians, actually, had one Bosnian fighting for Arslan last night. It was, I almost seen a clip of it on Twitter. To be fair, mate, it was stuck on Bild, which is the main TV channel there in Germany, or one of the main German sports networks. That they had it on for like €1.99.
Wunderbar.
And you needed a VPN, and I still didn't pay for it, mate. I wouldn't pay $1.99 for that, so I just said I'll catch the clip on Twitter, and that's what happened. quite a weak stoppage. But 54-year-old. It was quite the event actually. It was in a small hall and that obviously, but it was everybody was out there with their camera phones, lights on, trying to catch the great man walking out for his 60-odd fight, to say goodbye, and he's done it in style, mate. But so much to give.
He's still gonna fight, man.
I'm gonna say jokes on them in 3 months' time when they're back again.
This is what I don't get. I mean, give me a second to go. I had a look at the rankings there this morning. If I've seen it, where is it? There he's ranked 4th with WBA. Right, there is no way he's going to be walking away from that. Surely, I mean, the guy that he beat was ranked 5th, if you can believe that, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you got Mike Perez washed.
Dude, Arslan against Mike Perez, I would actually tune in for that.
Arslan couldn't be any worse than the last 2 clowns they put Perez in against. I'd be better off fighting.
If you look at the champ Goulamani, I wouldn't mind seeing Arslan fight him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he probably wouldn't win, but seeing his prime, he definitely would win. But I'd be interested to see if he could just muster one big performance. But 54, still got a lot to give, mate.
Put him in against Sergio Martinez, man.
It's like a real life Rocky against fucking Mason the Line Dixon.
That was the worst.
I tell you what,
that's the worst fucking name of anyone in the Rockies, at least. A fucking black guy named Mason the Line Dixon. Jesus fucking Christ.
We absolutely sometime need to go and revisit a couple of Arslan's fights, especially the Marco Hook fight. But see, like say, there was one of them.
Which one?
Earlier than that, but see, like the Guillermo Jones fight, that was an absolute execution.
Hernandez one was a good one too.
Aye, that was a good one. But the Guillermo Jones was an absolute bloodbath. I think it was like back and forth to Arslan was really kind of putting it on top of him and that, and he just got busted up.
That was peak roids, Guillermo Jones, wasn't it, man?
That was a great cruiserweight division at the time. You had Johan Pablo Hernandez, Steve Cunningham, always a fucking live in any given fight. Yeah, it was. Oh, and then Lebedev was around at that time as well. Good freaking time for fights with those guys, man. That was prime boxing. And Arslan is the one who's still fucking.
He's still there.
Arslan finger out.
He's still going.
He claims he's retired, but we'll just need to wait and see.
No, he'll come back. Anyway, let's get on to the DAZN card, the second one of the evening at the Kia Forum in Inglewood over in California. Just on the undercard, David Stevens got a shock first round loss to Joshawn James.
Lost to Stephen Davids.
I wasn't sure who the favourite was here because they're both undefeated, but Stevens was supposed to be the favourite. He got absolutely ice dropped twice and knocked out in the first round, so good luck to him. Donny, Areli Messino, this is a Matty sort of area here. Female IBF World Flyweight Champion, lost to Sebastian Fundora's sister, Gabriela Fundora. She's 6 foot tall. She boxes behind the jab.
5'9". She's not
5'9".
5'9". She's done
He's way big for a woman. That's 6 foot, isn't it? That's 6 foot in women feet.
Yeah.
Women inches.
She's 6'2" in heels.
She's 6'2" in heels, Donny. What about the old women's boxing scene? Is it dragging you back in like Catterall Linares? There's a 12 3-minute rounds fight with Serrano next weekend, which could entice you.
Oh, wait, they changed that now?
Well, next weekend, Serrano's fighting against Danilo Ramos, and it's going to be a 12-3s.
Is that going to be like one of those things like where it's only 12 rounds if it's sanctioned by?
It is for 12-3s, first female fight ever. That's title fight. The only one of the belts that Serrano holds at 126 who's not sanctioning it is the WBC. The other 3 sanctioning bodies have gone along with it.
So think, Donny, we're all for equality, right? And think of all the shit women's fights that you've seen, and now you're going to have to watch them for 12 minutes longer.
Oh, that fight is not going fucking 36 minutes.
Well, I mean, the thing is that, I mean, nobody would mind it if it's actually a good one. It just, you don't want the, substandard,
ugly ones
to go.
Watch them.
You don't want those ones to go that long. But if you have a legitimate, title fight among, champions who have proven themselves, that's okay. But I mean, what'd you say? It was the Katie Taylor versus which one was next week?
No, it's Amanda Serrano against Danilo Ramos next Friday evening, going to 12s.
Is that actually going to be a good fight?
Matty thinks it might be, actually.
Okay, well then, that's fine. But I mean, it has to be few and far between. I think it has to be reserved for the best fights.
And what about Oscar De La Hoya's cards in general? I think he's putting on some really good shows. He doesn't even know what time of day it is half the time, but he's delivering on DAZN maybe better than Eddie, would you argue?
Yeah, he's trying to make the decent fights, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also, he definitely is willing to reach across the aisle. It seems more than his rivals are, in order to make the fights. With the Ryan Garcia, versus what
Tank
was
Davis?
Yeah, thanks. So with the Garcia Davis fight, I think unless he's delusional, I think he had to know that he probably had the shit end of that. Whereas, and he still made the fight anyways, where his guy was not favored.
Who's the Pro Box promoter? I mean, obviously, they're putting on solid shows and that as well. Okay, it's no world level stuff and that, but it's competitive fights, and that's what you're wanting, really.
Yeah, no, I think Oscar's doing a really good job. I don't know, I guess he's got plenty of money, right? And I think he's willing to take, risks or whatever, much in the same way as he did when he was a fighter.
Good point.
Oscar, you could say whatever you want about him, but he fought everybody.
Have you seen the documentary that's come out about him?
No, I haven't.
You need to watch this shit, Donnie, man. You've been doing the same thing.
Not on your own, with a rope near.
or a big a ching.
What, it's sad?
It gets dark, like. Holy shit, man, it gets dark.
I don't know. Everyone that's seen it, does anyone doubt that Oscar's done anal?
Hey, mate, give and received.
Well, he was.
Donnie, I'll fill your story in here, right? So apparently, he got caught up in a paternity suit, right? And part of his defence was he couldn't remember, because this is like 9 months later, by something along those lines. Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of his lines of defence was he didn't know if it was true or no, because he had slept with some 500 women since then.
That's right.
Easy work.
Nice and easy, mate. 500 women, nice and easy in 9 months. Oh my word! He must have just been.
I'm going to listen to him all to be fucking awful, though, wouldn't it? Like, it's nice work if you can get it, but it's
what's
looking back at the
fucking documentary called?
The Golden Boy.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got to watch.
No wonder he gassed out towards the end of fights. Poor fella must be
His legs were shot. Legs were shaky at him. I was actually looking back at I was looking back at the fucking after the demise of Showtime. I was looking back with some nostalgia at some of the coverage on HBO, and just thinking how fucking far has it fallen. I know people didn't really appreciate Floyd that much when he was around, and he was kind of a pantomime villain, but somebody in the comments I was looking back at the promotion between him and Oscar, and someone in the comments made a really good point. They were like, they build this as the good guy versus the bad guy, but Oscar De La Hoya is one of the worst pieces of shit humans of all time. Is really one bad guy versus a worse guy.
Is Showtime Boxing done now?
Yep.
Yeah.
RIP Showtime.
They're going to see through the end of 2023. They have a few things in 24. Canelo still has 2 fights with them, and then they're out done.
But it's official, though.
Yeah, it's official. Yeah.
I'd been reading rumors about it, but I hadn't kept up on it.
You're going to miss it.
Yeah. Pardon?
Are you going to miss it?
Yeah, actually, I think that it's funny to think, 10 years ago, if we were all sitting around and we said that in 10 years there's going to be a boxing without there's going to be a lot of boxing on TV, but there's going to be no HBO and Showtime in it. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, we would have never believed it.
Yep, it's gone. It's going. But the zone's still going, luckily, Matty. And as
Matt... Yeah, where were we, Steve?
I'm going to say...
When the zone is your last hope.
What'd you say, Don?
I said, when the zone is your last and only hope.
Exactly.
You know you're in shit shape.
Before you two boys take it down. take down the old Golden Boy card. But Matt Butters enjoyed it anyway, Matty. He said, I thought the Golden Boy card saved what would otherwise be a disappointing weekend. Sandoval versus Sandoval was a good fight. Scrappy Ramirez knocked out Batista. And then, of course, we had the main event. Pick the bones of that, Matthew. Why don't you?
Yeah, I thought this was a thoroughly entertaining card. The Sandoval versus Sandoval card or fight delivered on definitely what we might have beyond what might have expected. But the losing Sandoval brought a whole lot of experience into the ring. The winning Sandoval, that's the El Nino Sandoval, who you might remember losing to David Jimenez a year or so ago, give or take. But that was a good one back and forth that El Nino was able to pull out in the end. Just landed some of the cleaner punches in there, but the two of them combined to throw 1,700 punches in the fight. Definitely a good entertaining scrap over 10 rounds that I thought El Nino definitely deserved to win. Maybe a couple of the cards were too wide. I kind of thought that it was a 6-4-ish to draw kind of fight for him, but regardless, the right guy won, I think, on that one. Then on that one, Scrappy Ramirez taking out Ronald Batista, who is usually sturdier than that in the fourth round. And I mean, just waylaying him for it must have been anger about his awful hairline that produced that one, because he just came in there winging for the fences.
He's on hard paper.
I was saying to Stephen that as well. Says he is the oldest looking 27-year-old on the planet. He carries every second of it, mate. He looks like 35 minimum.
Yeah, it is pretty rough, man. Tells you how tough it is growing up in the fucking hood or something, man. Because that age is on his fucking face and is definitely in his hair. I don't think that you can have Edward James Olmos hairline and braid your hair. I don't think that works. But anyways, Scrappy, you do what you got to do when you fight like that. You can,
he takes a few, but he comes to fight, doesn't he? He's a polarizing figure, but I like his attitude and the way he fights, so I don't give a shit what he says outside of the ring.
Yeah, hell of a good puncher too. And I think the one thing that I would worry about a little bit is he's kind of a little bit static with the head as he's picking his shots. I think he can be caught going straight back a little bit, but we'll see what happens, because he's a hell of a puncher, hell of an entertaining fighter in what continues to be for years on end a stacked 115-pound division. I think he's mandatory for Ioka if they're not able to make that a Strata fight for Ioka. So we'll see what happens. That would be an interesting fight.
He called out Ioka afterwards. He says, I'm the mandatory. Let's make it happen, Andy.
Yeah, I want to see that fight happen as well, mate. I think Oscar will, obviously signing with Oscar. I've seen he's been on a few Oscar shows, but the way I was listening to it last night, it looks like he's just recently signed with him. So I think Oscar would get him the big fights. He is, as the saying goes. I mean, if he can't get the Ioka fight, Tanaka's quite highly ranked. Matt Batista was ranked top 10 as well, I think. So he's definitely earned his opportunity, and I think that Ioka fight would possibly be a bit of change in the guard, actually, to be honest with you. I really liked his short punches there last night. He was active. He was all angles in terms of punching, and good output. And it says it was crisp, short punches, and it wasn't like wide, long, looping shots. I think it was compact, really good energy in that as well. Just really set about that guy. Just didn't give him a minute, really. A bit much like Santillan as well, actually. But I think Ramirez certainly gives Ioka a heavy night's work.
Stick with us on Santillan, Andy. We'll go straight on to that fight now. I knew this would be a good fight, even though they're both southpaws, as we said last week. I thought Rocha would eventually win. I thought it would go later than it did. The commentators were discussing Santillan's kind of relative lack of power, but sometimes it's not about one-punch power. What I noticed that he did, he captured that early momentum, and he never let up. Once he wobbled Rocha, he busted his nose, he gathered pace. Rocha realised all of a sudden, I can't hurt this guy, I can't stop him from coming forward. Started to feel a bit sorry for himself. And it was those contributing factors that started to swing the fight in Santillan's favour, rather than Rocha just being caught by a single hard shot, getting hurt and stopped. I think he was just beaten down physically and emotionally by Santillan.
That's exactly what I was going to say, mate. Exact same thing. Santillan was just simply on one there last night. He beat the dog shit out of Rocha. High intensity for the very first minute, right out through the fight, mate. He just kept it going. You say Rocha he just couldn't match it in whatever way, physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever it was going to be. He'd really get into that fight. He just did not have it to kind of match him. And what a performance, really, to be fair. I mean, I think it's okay, maybe saying him winning the fight wasn't maybe a big surprise, but I think the manner in which he kind of went about it was definitely an eye opener. I've seen some people on Twitter saying there's a new guy in the house at 147, which I wouldn't be against the realms of possibility. But again, division's on lockdown just now, so opportunities are going to be kind of slim. But definitely want to keep an eye on it at this point and that as well. Opportunities that are going to be scarce. It's how you match them going forward and that as well. Crawford maybe vacate, but until that time, what does he do? Does he sit on the shelf, wait for another opportunity? But what a performance. Absolutely what a performance. And you're thinking to yourself, if he's on that type of form, that's going to take the best of that division to kind of handle that guy, to be fair, because that was an absolute beatdown. Okay, you could say that, look, listen, Rocha just simply couldn't defend, couldn't get his head off centre, but really, he couldn't do nothing with the guy. I just think he got absolutely caught up in it the very first moment.
Why did they take it? Because was it the crowd or whatever that got into this? Because they'd sparred rounds and rounds and rounds before. Apparently, they knew each other, so that had to go into the decision-making process for Rocha to take this fight. So I wonder whether the occasion got to him, or maybe he just wasn't good enough. But they knew each other. Oscar and the team would have known, what went down in the sparring sessions.
Yeah, true. But then again, these two are highly ranked with one of the bodies. I don't know if
Good
it's
point.
the
Just
WBO on that.
rolled the dice, basically. Yeah,
exactly. And what's Oscar's mantra been the last month or so? And you got to applaud him.
Practice what you preach, baby.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
Eddie's come out and says he's held talks with him, regardless of the abuse he's been given. Eddie, just part of the ego, mate. It's good for business. Make the fights. He's
To be
he's
fair,
beaten
any
Bob Arum.
abuse that Eddie's taken is a lot less weird, at least, than the abuse Oscar's taken.
I know. And obviously he's had chats with Bob and that as well. So he's trying to get the fights made, trying to get business done. And he's saying to these guys, look, listen, you're next in line for a world title fight. If you're going to fight each other, I can pretty much deliver it to you. And proof of being the pudding now, actually, what he does next. I think he'll maybe start pushing the WBO, I suppose, what's going to happen with Crawford. I think they'll give him some time, I would imagine, but not much. But yeah, look, that was an absolute ass kick in there last night, and you love to see performances like that. Certainly, kind of sets a few tongues wagging at 147 because again, division's getting kind of thin. Outside the Crawford and that, Ugas is washed in that division. Josh Taylor's still to kind of prove himself up at that weight. Thurman's tied to fight. Stanionis, I think that'll be a beatdown as well. Actually, Ortiz is shagged at the weight as well. Spence is finished at the weight. So it's good to have Santillan now kind of like coming forward and maybe kind of like saying, I'm the next guy here now, possibly. So fight like that, I would be really excited for his next fight. Because as I always say, you're always good as your last fight, and off that performance, it's a wee signature statement for him.
Yeah, Matt Butters, Matty saying Rocha showed some balls in that fifth round to survive. I thought could easily have quit. Absolutely, he could have done and I said this as well in the chat. Boxing's going to be poor, I think, for Rocha not being around. I mean, he had his chance. He lost at the end of the day. Nothing away from Santillan. But Rocha brought this kind of energy to the ring, to the crowd. I look forward to watching his fights. Hopefully Santillan can take that aura onto the next level now and say, look, he give a shout out to Top Rank. They basically got fed up with him and sent him over, didn't they? They'll be happy to bring him back into the fold now, I think.
He did a great job in there, and I just thought I still think Rocha was probably the bigger puncher in the fight, but I just think Santillan was the bigger guy in a way. He's just the sturdier guy, he's the broader guy, and Rocha. What's kind of hurt him? He had that Blair Cobbs win, but Blair Cobbs hasn't really proven to be much, right? So he's kind of had a pretty easy run of opponents. Since he suffered his defeat. I can't even remember who he might have lost to at this point in time. So I think when he had a guy that he just can kind of run over and he stood in there and he took the energy out to land his shots, because don't kid yourself. I mean, Rocha was landing some incredibly good punches on Santillan, punches that he would have dropped any other number of fighters with, and Santillan took them and came back with hard stuff himself. And whenever Rocha went down to the body, Santillan went down to the body with him, and just kind of in a lot of the ways that you saw Chamberlain did with Lawal, except he had a guy who was a lot more willing to swing for the fences as you kind of wish that Lawal had, and it just didn't go that way for him, but produced an incredibly entertaining fight until it was over with. And I was looking at the rankings, this being in the WBO. You have Rashidi Ellis that's up there pretty high as well, and Cody Crowley. It was up right there behind Rocha, I think. And I don't know if these promoters are starting to work with each other a little bit. I think that Ellis against him isn't necessary. Against Santillan could be good, could be boring if Ellis gets his way and gets to fight the kind of fight he'd like. But I think that Crowley against Santillan would be a very entertaining fight while it lasts. And I think that if Crowley fights the kind of fight that he does against that he did against Ramos recently, it'll serve to entertain the fans. But I think that it'll go quite similarly to how this Rocha fight ended.
I think quickly, Matty, Santillan Ellis might go the same way as Ellis Romain Villa went towards the end, but a lot quicker.
Yeah, I think that's a good example on that one. Is Rashidi Ellis, he does have skills, but you can walk him down, and he is susceptible to the bigger man doing damage. And I tend to think that Santillan is probably just a little bit more skillful than Villa is.
Right, let's keep things moving. We have a couple of questions and a couple of comments. Donny, I'm going to go to you first of all. Danny Young threw this in. I don't know if you've been watching the old Misfits and the YouTubers, but he sent a question in last week and I neglected it, but I've pulled it out the bag for you. He said, question for tonight, Steve, aka Donny. Are the promoters as much to blame for this influencer boxing as the so-called fighters themselves? When you have Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren using their platform to show the fights and Cali managing and promoting some of the fighters, it's fair to say they are cashing in on it, but advertising it at the same time. I don't buy that these shows can bring a new audience to boxing, as they are only fans of the low-life scum that they support and have no interest in professional boxers.
Well, I'm not sure I agree with that, Steve.
Go ahead.
I mean, I do think that while us hardcore grizzled boxing fans may, recoil at these, fights between YouTubers and stuff, the thing is that if they buy the card, they're probably buying the whole thing. I mean, the only criticism I have is that maybe they should be having some better undercard fights or whatever. That would actually help to grow the sport. But I'm always of the opinion that, hey, if people want to watch this stuff, it keeps boxing relevant in the minds of some of these young people who are watching, video game YouTube celebrities or whatever, fight in the ring. You can develop them into the next generation of fans. I didn't really know a lot of boxing when I was a kid, but I knew WWF, now WWE, of course, or whatever. But like that sort of stuff, like I think kind of leads you to becoming a fan of boxing. It's in a ring. There's guys, there's hitting, there's, trash talk. There's all of that. I mean, it's a kind of a gateway drug, if you will, to the real thing.
Is it though, or is it just fans of KSI saying, "I'll watch him if he boxes, I'll watch him if he plays football, I'll watch him if he sings, I'll watch him if he streams, etc."
Yeah, there's some that will only, their interest will be confined to that, and I think that there's some other quantum of fans whose interest may be broadened, into researching the sport, and to maybe watching it on a more regular basis. If it creates at least a few more fans, I mean that's great. I mean, why does anybody have a problem with that? It's not crowding out space for other fights. In fact, as a matter of fact, on so many weeks we come on here and we say, Jesus, like the action this week was shit. Well, if it's shit, then it's not crowding out space for other fights. There's plenty of space going around if there's a weekend where we didn't have any good fights.
Yeah, but is it better for having tag team boxing in the fold?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't have all the answers here, but what I'm saying is that I don't think it's hurting boxing, and maybe it isn't helping boxing, but the net effect at worst is neutral. And because of that, people really need to stop whining about it.
What about nude boxing, Donny? Do you think that could catch on?
With the right set of ladies, absolutely.
Absolutely.
He
Jim
goes
McDonald.
straight to women. He doesn't even think there might be naked men fucking just like, all right, you fucking hit
There'll
me.
be no
dick,
arguments
I'll
over
hit
the
you
belt
with a
lines
dick
anyway,
too.
Matty, with the Dubois Usyk controversy.
Yeah, no shit. It's like, look
Yeah.
at my dick is reddened. Like clearly, like
Yeah.
I have been struck.
Nude boxing presented by Andrew Galata Promotions.
Well, Jim McDonald Boxing says the YouTube
That's where you
channels are just as
separate the
much.
men from the boys right there. Quite literally.
Every fighter would have to freeze their sperm before each fight.
The YouTube channels are just as much to blame too. The likes of IFL, Seconds Out, Boxing Social, and Talksport all talk about misfits just as much as they do real boxing. 100% agree with that, Matty. That's why you won't hear us talking about it on this program.
No, we never do.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're above such things.
It doesn't trickle down, says one fellow. There is action over in Dorchester, Massachusetts next weekend.
Can I just make one final word on?
Yes, you can indeed. Yes.
Well, fuck you, Maddie. But I mean, like, has anybody ever said, like, well, what would happen if, like, these two people fought? Now, I'm not talking about fighters. I'm just talking about, like, regular people. Like, what if, like, the managing partner at my firm fought, like, one of the other partners? like, how would this go down?
It's Fight Club. It's very much, just
You're saying it's like the ultimate playground, sorting out the men from the
Holy
boys.
shit, Misfits is fucking Fight Club played out.
Yeah, so I think
break
that's kind
the
of what
number one
the
rule of Fight
YouTuber-
Club. They talk about it all the fucking
Would you kick
time.
your boss's ass, Donny?
No. Oh, would I? Of course, yeah, but not. I wouldn't do it for economic reasons, obviously.
Right.
Be some ring walk, wouldn't it, Donny? What would you be wearing at the fucking? You like Mayweather? Wouldn't you go around with a red hat? No.
My boss is a hell of a fighter. You know what I mean? But I made smart investments.
He's made some smart investments. Apart from when he hired you.
we all know that Donnie would come out looking like some combination of Macho Man Randy Savage and Ric Flair. I don't know exactly how that would come out, but hey, you might as well just take a picture of a peacock and say that's it.
Well, he's Randy anyway. We know that.
Hell, you see him in a courtroom, he's savage.
But here's the thing about the celebrity boxing or whatever. Tommy Fury was a novice fighter who was trading off his celebrity name, and KSI is a celebrity who's trading off the fact that he's a novice boxer. So it was the perfect fucking crossover, wasn't it? Like, I really don't think there's that much difference between the talent levels of fucking Tommy Fury and KSI, which is kind of why I don't have a problem with the fight. But these other crossover fights, we've fucking seen it before. Like, the fucking guy who's never fought in his life can't win the fight. What's the fucking point in having these things? Like, anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Are you more offended by the idea that Tommy Fury thinks he's a top level boxer, or that KSI think he should compete with Tommy Fury?
KSI can compete with Tommy Fury. He's shown it, hasn't he? But that's not saying much, like, is it? I don't know. I think I'm honestly fucking, the numbers speak on these things. I think that did 1.1 million buys or something, Tommy Fury versus KSI. That's staggering, isn't it? Like, that's more than Floyd. That's more than Floyd and Manny, I think, isn't it? Maybe certainly the US numbers. It's up there, like, so.
Wait, how many?
I think it did 1.1 million.
Floyd and Manny did over
4.5, wasn't it? I think.
Oh, sorry. Maybe they did 1.1 in America or something.
In the UK, I think maybe it was. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but still, like, put it this way: 1.1 million is dwarfing boxing numbers, dwarfing it. Like, so why would the networks invest in boxing when they can make the fucking? Why wouldn't DAZN just open up their fucking platform fully to these misfits guys now and fill? Because they're desperate for content, they're desperate for viewers.
Well,
their fucking ship is sinking. So misfits and all that could carry the flag, and boxing could be just fucking replaced. Like,
well, and these dopes are doing their own marketing too. You know, they have their followings. They open their loud fucking mouths. The networks don't have to do anything except provide the platform. At the end of
most
the
day. Most boxers these days don't have were born with a fucking personality, let alone know how to market themselves. Like, it's fucking characters in the sport are few and far between, which is, I think, again, plays a part in why people tune out to this shit. There's no genuine characters anymore. It's more contrived. And anyway, I sound like a fucking bitter old bastard.
To be fair, Rob, that's why they have promoters like Ben Shalom to do the talking for them.
Exactly. Big mouth Ben Shalom, everybody. He's like the fucking. He's
European
like a fucking
promoter of the
Britney
year,
Spears
by the way.
Madonna King, isn't he? Ben Shalom. He's such a smooth talking salesman. You'd buy anything off him. Fucking hell! How did he get the gig in the fucking first place? Jesus Christ!
Thomas Newman says IFL and Boxing Social with the Kevin and Perry style virgins, Parsons and Pugh, whoever that is, fixated on Earl Brook et al. I take Ames as a peer. He comes out from under the rock, doesn't he? When we start talking about this type of things, he'll be jumping on the call next. We love Ames. We love Ames. Anyway, let's.
He is.
He is indeed. Tidy up a few things next weekend. We're not going to talk about these. I'm just going to mention them though. Swissaket saw Rungvisai is back in action in a 6-rounder against Sukrapaserd. Also, Matty, Dharmender is on that show. We love an Indian mononym here, don't we?
Is he fighting one of the Ganeshas or
no? Sathaporn Sart 10-1.
Son of a bitch. He'll probably lose that one.
He might well do. Jonathan Gonzalez in action as well over in Nicaragua against Gerardo Zapata. And Kieran Malloy, well-supported Galway fighter, and Fergus Quinn are travelling over to Massachusetts next Saturday evening. Also, there was an interesting fight, Andy, that you were mentioning off air between Oshaki Foster and Eduardo Hernandez, WBC World Super Featherweight title. Eddie Hearn's all over this one in Mexico under zone. Decent main event, actually. Possible upset on the card you're smelling?
Yeah, I think Matty's maybe the same, actually. I just think this Hernandez, obviously, he has got an L on his record, and it was an early knockout, first round job, and it was one of those ones where he got kind of caught square, and he just took the shot, and it just scrambled him for a good part, and just couldn't get up. But one thing about him is he is a true banger. I don't think he's been past 6 rounds possibly his entire career. And Oshaki Foster is your kind of classic, kind of like stylist, bit of a decent boxer, okay amateur career in that as well. Kind of came up the ranks the hard way, beat Miggy Roman, had to go to Dubai and beat what is it, a Kazakh possibly, or
Yakubov,
maybe a Tajik or whatever it was. Then obviously go beat Ray Vargas, which wasn't easy, to be fair, because Vargas, for all his born qualities that he's got, and that he is a hard fighter to defeat, and Vargas done it pretty well. Foster done it pretty well, but I just think with Hernandez's style, with his power, I think if Foster feels that power, especially early doors, particularly early doors, I think Hernandez would get to him and probably wear him down towards the back half of the fight. But we still need to really see Hernandez, how he gets basically after 6, 7, 8 rounds.
Yeah.
That's going to be the acid test.
That's the key, isn't it? If Shaki can get past that point, I think.
Yep, certainly with the power. Obviously, you've got the question mark: was that knockout loss to Hernandez a fluke? As in, did he just set himself up for it, or is he learning from it, or is the chin, has been known with some phenomenal bangers, have got dodgy chins? So we'll wait and see. But I think Hernandez is potentially got this one. Actually, I'm going to say maybe a late stoppage, but I've got a bit of a smell on my face to think I'm going to put myself out of it. But I think Foster, obviously, he's got good talent. But if it goes late, it's certainly anybody's fight. But I just think if Hernandez can get him early, certainly make him feel that power early doors, I think he's on his way.
It's a really tough fight to call, and it for a few reasons. One is Foster is obviously a very, very good boxer. But Ray Vargas is obviously not fighting like Hernandez is, so I think you have to throw that out the window a bit. But we also know that Oshaki Foster can go 12 rounds. The last time that we've seen Hernandez go the distance in a fight was in his 4th or 5th pro fight, his 6th pro fight, which was 6-round unanimous decision victory, and since then, the most rounds he's gone in a fight is the 5th. So I don't know what can happen as this fight goes on late. Like I feel you on the chance of that late stoppage. If Hernandez has the gas tank, if he stays in Foster's face all day long, I think that opportunity is going to be there, that he would be able to take him out. But we don't know what Hernandez looks in the second half of a fight. We literally have not a fucking
one
clue.
thing is as well, Matty, he's been scheduled to go the 12-round distance twice, so at least theoretically he has trained to go that distance, but he knocked the guy out in the first round the first time and the second round the next time, so he's got nowhere near hitting number 12.
Yeah, and then he got knocked out in the first round by what's his
Gutierrez.
Gutierrez,
Yeah.
who can punch, who absolutely can punch. And those first round stoppages do happen. It's a really interesting fight. Where he's paying about 2-1 as the underdog. He's not a huge underdog, so I think the books kind of see it. And you can't really get a feel on this fight from fighting Ray Vargas. Ray Vargas, totally different animal from Eduardo Foster, Eduardo Hernandez.
Rocky Hernandez.
Yeah, because if you want to look up Eduardo Hernandez on BoxRec, you're only going to find about 80 people. Have to kind of scroll down to years active on there. But this is honestly a pretty decent card, actually, too. I think that Nunez Escandón fight might actually be interesting. Escandón has been taken out early, Steve, but he's also shown that he can stand in there winging punches till way late. I think that one could be a ball and a half, too.
He's dangerous. He certainly is. Ozzy, no, Donny. We wish Ozzy. Donny Oshaki Foster is traveling over to Cancun to fight a Mexican. He's showing some balls, man. He's going into the Lions' backyard. Donny.
I think Donny's had an offer for the wife to go and tidy up the house real quick.
Tell you something. Cancun is no fucking Lion's Den. It's fucking straight into paradise. I've been to Cancun. It's fucking Lion's Den. Throw me to the Lions.
One sec, he says. In the chat.
When you're in the tourist section of it's probably a wonderful place. You get outside.
Yeah, when you're washing your fucking self in the river with your family and at the risk of getting killed by the crocodiles, it's probably not balance. Context is important.
Oh, yeah, but you got alibis. There's just alibis everywhere you look down there, Rob.
Alibis and alligators. Donny says 1 sec, so yeah. Joking, Don, I'm only joking. I had a good question for you, Rob, and I can't remember what it was now. Oh, yes, this is what it was. Oshaki Foster is used to fighting on the road. In March 2022, he beat Muhammad Jakuja Yakubov in Dubai. That was on a promotion by Probellum. Whatever happened?
Bunch of lads. Probably didn't get a good. They got an unfair fucking hand in the sport. Really, it was grand open and grand closing for Probellum. Like they didn't get a chance to get off the ground due to the media. Really, media writing what they wanted and fucking linking them to this, linking them to that with no evidence. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, good man, Wacky Oshaki. I like him. I think he can box a bit. Like it's going to be an interesting fight. Like he's going to have to hang in there, isn't he, in the first 6 rounds?
I think he will, Rob.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he cruises to a kind of a decision win. To be honest with you, we wait and see. It's a good clash of styles. I wouldn't mind being over in Cancun covering the fight, bowl. By the way, what's that fucking place? Coco Bongos, Jesus.
Coco Bongos, indeed. So we got Oshaki Foster against Eduardo Hernandez. You picked up on the undercard there, Matty. Anything else other than Nunez? Is that Ricardo Nunez who fought Gervonta Davis? I'm thinking about there. The same one? Might be, I don't know actually.
Eduardo Nunez, let's see here.
No, Ricardo Nunez I was thinking of, sorry.
At 24-1, all of his wins by knockout, Steve. He has not lost since 2018 against Hiram Gallardo. I don't know, let's see if he's fought anyone in that time though. He had an 11-1 guy on there. Yeah, with some of these Mexican guys, you never know. Like, guy with a 30-12 record could have fought all sorts of names, all sorts of undefeated guys. His last 3 fights, he's fought a 10-1 guy, 12-1-2, and a 17-0. So he's definitely on a good run here. And again, all of his victories by knockout. That could be an interesting fight against Escandón there. And he could take him out early, though. I mean, Escandón has been, taken out early by King Tug, if I recollect on that one. But let's see if there's anything else that's on there. Let's see here. You got Christopher Lopez Rodriguez, 16-0 against Aaron Alameda. Alameda, I've seen him before, Steve. I think
he's good.
He's a fun fighter. And then got a heavyweight fight, 7-0 Justice Pooney against Andrew Tabiti on there. But that Alameda fight could be good.
Alameda, he pushed Luis Neri close, I think.
I was trying to think. Never been stopped. Had a majority decision loss to Angelo Leo. in 2021, and then he only lost by a round on one of the cards against Neri.
Yeah, he was really good that night, Alameda. He surprised me. It was a Showtime pay-per-view. I think it was one of the pandemic pay-per-views, maybe Charlo, Derevchenko, something like that.
Let's see here. Event. That was on the Charlo Derevchenko. You called it,
God,
Steve.
I'm a sad bastard.
You are a sharp son of a bitch. No, you're not a sad bastard. You're a sharp son of a bitch. There's a difference, damn it. There's a difference. But yeah, so that could be an interesting one on there. Alameda's been out of the ring for about a year. Christopher Lopez Rodriguez, 16-0-2, 10 of those coming by stoppage. His last one was a draw. See here, that was again Brandon Gomez Rocha. Not a really shiny, glossy record for that gentleman. See here, he also had a draw very early in his career, but that was 5 years ago. You can develop against since then.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot in there. That one might be worth taking a look at on there. I have a feeling that the odds makers are going to see through that shiny record, but even if he's not made the favorite, I would have to say that Alameda should be the favorite in that fight. I am definitely interested in seeing that one. And like I said, there's also a heavyweight fight on there with Tabiti taking on undefeated Justice Hooney, 7-0. See here. Got an amateur background. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
me and Andy. He's Andy, the one who flicked between amateur and pro. Wasn't he trying to go to the Olympics? I think Justice Uni at one point. I think he's the same guy.
Yeah, mate. I think he actually even break his hand.
Hurt his hand. That's right. Yeah.
Well, in his last 3 fights, although not active, he's beat Paul Gallen, Joseph Goodall, both undefeated at the time, and Kiki Toa Lutelli.
Goodall, who beat Stephen Shaw, didn't he, on a recent Top Rank card?
Paul Gallen is
yeah. That's that guy that he was a bit of a fucking puncher there. He just didn't. Shaw just didn't know what the fuck hit him in that fight. So that's the interesting one to take a look at there as well.
Gallen's a useless rugby player, isn't he? I think
he just might very well be a useless rugby player. But yeah. Interesting.
Matty getting all hard on for that fight, by the way, when he fought.
Oh yeah, he loves all that type of stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I'm trying to think back. He hasn't.
Did he beat Big Daddy Brown, Gallen?
Yes, he did.
He
knocked him out, didn't he? Sparked him. Hey, maybe gone down the rabbit hole here. Right, Matty, drag us back out quickly. Let's talk about.
That'd be. But yeah, the only loss to Tabiti was against Dorticos. I don't know if you remember that fight. Andy.
Yeah, I did. That was World Series of Boxing, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, lost in the 10th round. Don't see what the cards were at the time of the stoppage on that one. I can't recollect that one.
Tabiti was one of the Floyd Mayweather fighters, I think.
Yeah. So that could be that's honestly not a bad card there on Saturday at all. You also have that the Serrano card. I think there's a couple of decent fights on there.
Well, I'm coming to that now. Friday. Vargas, 2016 Olympian, going in against Hernan, Tyson, Marquez, who likes getting himself knocked out, and Serrano going in 12 rounds against Danilo Ramos. And I did my due diligence, Matty. I saw Ramos fighting, actually. I was watching her during the week. Long arms, twiglet legs. Do you think she might get stopped?
I do think she's going to get stopped. I think the thing that matters more in this fight than the 12 rounds is the 3 minutes, Steve. And we can go back to a number of fights in Amanda Serrano's career and be like, God, that other fighter would not have survived if there was a 3 minute round, including Katie Taylor when they fought in the 4th or the 5th round. So I don't think the 12 rounds is going to matter. The 3 minutes will. I expect Serrano to win by stoppage.
Serrano by stoppage. Right, boys, before we go on to Value of the Week, I'll give you one last chance. You can talk Fury and Ngannou if you want to, or you can talk about the undercard. Andy, we'll go to you first of all. If there's anything that's sticking out, let me know. Joseph Parker, I don't know why he keeps getting opportunities for some reason. I suppose it's because he's Fury's mate. Going in against big stiff idiot Simon Keane, a Canadian puncher on the undercard. Carlos Takam should lose to Martin Bakole. Arslanbek Makhmudov is fighting against Anthony Wright, who turned pro as a cruiserweight and has been knocked out 3 times out of 4. And also, there was another fight on that, wasn't there? Oh, yeah, the Adelaide against Fabio Wardley, British title fight as well. Anything pique your interest there, Andy, on that Riyadh undercard next Saturday evening?
Is it listed on BoxRec, mate?
No, it's not listed on BoxRec.
All right, because I just wondered, I can't remember seeing any of these fights listed. Nah, nothing's really floating my boat, mate. So Simon Keane. I'm trying to remember. Is that the guy? Let me have a look at his record here. I think he's the guy who got iced.
Canadian, yeah.
Aye, that knockout. Dylan Carmen. I'm sure if he's going to pull up that fight, I'm sure Simon Keane got fucking hit with a right hand at one side of the ring, and he staggered all the way across the other side of the ring and fucking fell out of the top rope, and he was dangling like a fucking folded in half out of the top rope. I'm sure it was that fight against Dylan Carmen. I think Parker will probably smash him, knock him out, possibly. Who else you got here, mate? Wardley against Adderley. That might have a bit of, a bit of something to it, possibly. Nah, mate. I will let Rob maybe come into it. To be fair, I'm not even too sure I'm going to even watch this card next week. To be fair.
Come on, Rob. Save the day.
I mean, I'll probably watch it on a Saturday night if I'm in, like, a fucking something, you know what I mean? I'll be having a few bottles and whatever, like, I'll watch it. But, I mean, it's nobody wanted to see it. But, again, I make this point that they're not selling it to us. Like, I've been talking to guys that I met that I know fucking aren't boxing fans, and they're coming and approaching me and talking to me about Ngannou's chances, and I'm like, I've been here before, asshole, with Mayweather McGregor. Like, stop this shit. Like, he has absolutely no chance. Like, yeah, but he's the hardest punching on record in Guinness. But, like, the people that buy this shit are not us, so it's not really aimed at us. So I understand it's a cash grab. I don't give a flying fuck about it. Happy to see fucking whoever does the Boxing Asylum says Rob Kelly does Andy Lee bingo, like, on fucking Boxing Asylum. I'm happy to see Andy's out there training Parker, so he's getting a bit of Riyadh money. He was doing pads on Insta today with Sugar Hill. So I'm happy that they're getting, some people are getting paid out of it, some good people are getting some money in their pockets. But other than that, I couldn't give
So
a fuck
much
about
money
it,
is going to go to mental health services, Rob. Like,
yeah,
so
I mean,
much.
Fury's obviously going to donate his whole purse from Riyadh straight to charity because money doesn't motivate him. He says that a million times. He's not motivated by money. He's rich already. Like, so obviously he's just doing this for to raise the profile of the sport, really, in Riyadh. So commendable from Tyson Fury's point of view, but a joke. And I think, I don't think any hardcore boxing fan would be that upset if he actually got starched in one round, like, for taking this fight, because it is such a flagrant cash grab that, he might as well do the Mayweather fucking and wear the ski mask on the ring walk just to tell everybody that he's robbing the bank with this one, like, because it's really money for old rope, isn't it? Like, it's a training session for Tyson Fury. It's a public exhibition, a spar. He'll probably make it exciting for a couple of rounds. I wouldn't even be surprised if he carries Ngannou the whole fight. I mean, I think it's important for the boxer to stop the guy in this scenario because it gives the UFC guys credit that their guys, could easily survive in the boxing world, but our guys couldn't survive there. That seems to be their kind of main thing that they cling on to when they're comparing the two sports. But this guy Ngannou wouldn't have got paid that if he was still with the UFC. He wouldn't have got paid a fraction of it. So I suppose from his point of view, he's vindicated for leaving the promotion. But it's shit. Like, it's shit. What's Ngannou? Like, nobody's even seen this guy with a pair of boxing boots on him and a pair of gloves to see what he actually looks like moving around the ring. It's, he hadn't got, like, even McGregor had, like, I wouldn't say a credible amateur background, but he had an amateur background in boxing before he was training with Phil Sutcliffe and that before he went to MMA full time. So he had some kind of idea.
Some highlight reel knockouts too. I mean, he really did.
Yeah,
have
he
some
had
little,
and he had little moments of fucking success, even though Floyd was fucking eating at McDonald's at 2 a.m. and not doing any road work for that fight, clearly, like, and he was carrying him, like, but this, I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a snooze fest and Fury carries him the whole 12 rounds. Like, I don't even see the stop. I don't even know what the fight looks like, to be honest with you. Maybe it looks like a crime scene and Fury just goes out and blasts him out. But
doesn't do that, does he?
I mean, he's capable of it. He's 6'9".
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He can knock.
Look at the Chisora fight, though.
Sure. No. Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. If he's in that mode where he just feels like he's going to carry the guy and just cruise, like, I don't think Fury's going to be. I'm saying he's going to be risk adverse in this because there's a bigger fucking payday on the line that's already been signed. So if he gets a cut here or anything, that's going to delay that fight and hold things up even more. Like, so he's going to be risk adverse. I'd say he'll fucking take a look at him for a while, and I wouldn't be surprised if he carries him the full 12 rounds, which is going to do nothing for anyone.
I think
You
it's
know that way.
10 rounds for some reason.
Oh fuck! Well, even yeah. Well,
Rob, I
even
like
better.
Dez's assessment. I hope I'm not misquoting him, but when he saw Ngannou, Rob, on the pads, he said he looked at him and I would say, that looks like a decent kid with a bit more practicing and sparring. We could put him in the London ABAs next year.
Yeah, exactly. That these guys, there's no shortcut to the top in boxing, and it goes for the same for the novice guys who are dedicating their full lives to it now. Like you see, they're still shit. Like once they've maybe trained for 5 years and sparred with pros for 5 years, you have to really be at boxing from birth. There's a couple of guys who've come to the sport late and had success, but even those guys, the lack of amateur experience always tells in the long run. Like you cannot take shortcuts in boxing. There's no shortcut to the top. Like apart from you get well managed and you have a promoter who will pay all your sanctioning fees and fucking pump you up the rankings, but against it all comes out in the wash in boxing. Like I said, Des is right. Like if I was watching Ngannou and I was thinking like this fella's going back for the fucking white for the novices and the amateurs in Ireland, he might have a chance, but someone will probably box the ears off him, you know, that way. Like it's just fucking, he doesn't look very good. Like Tyson, it's all a bit of fucking WWE, isn't it? Like it stinks, but like loads of people are getting money and I'm happy for them. I'm just sad that I'm not getting any of it, you know, that way. That's my overriding thought about the whole thing.
Good point, fair point. Matty, were you going to throw something in there? No?
Nah, I was thinking a little bit about Tyson in his corner, and I just think that's kind of an interesting angle. And I kind of wonder, I guess, a little bit if Yuri's going to be a bit motivated to just knock the fuck out of Ngannou in front of his idol.
And Andy, I would love to see if John Fury says he's going to put it on Mike Tyson and confront him. I hope to God he does.
Mate, as I say to you guys during the week, there is no fucking chance John Fury is going to walk up to Mike Tyson and cut a WWE type promo on Mike fucking Tyson. And if he does, I really hope Mike Tyson is off his meds that day and hasn't got any weed to chill him out and all that type of stuff, because he is going to get up and hit him a Jesse Ferguson right uppercut to the depths of hell. Hopefully it's caught on camera and Mike Tyson gets a pardon from the King of Saudi Arabia and saying, "Go on my way, my brother." Right? Peace be unto Allah.
An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth.
Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. Mister, I'm a fighting man. We get scraped up off the fucking flare.
You, Mike Tyson, I'm wanting a word. You're training against my son. I'm wanting a word with you, Mike Tyson. Chill out, John. You need to relax, John.
I also see as we're talking about it, actually, Dave Lee mentioned that epic interview that Mike Tyson done on the telly with the guy mentioned his rape conviction.
Oh yeah,
and you could. I watched it twice over. Right, you've got the agent trying to act totally professional, and see when Mike drops that line, "Fuck you, man!" Right. The agent just puts his face on it, this turns to the fucking host and says, "What are you gonna do now, bitch?"
The guy was like, "Well, in my defense, Mike, you are a convicted rapist."
and then the other thing, like, didn't he just kind of like accept it? But he's like, yeah, I'm anything. You're like, I'm an okay husband. I'm a so father. I'm a convicted rapist. I'm many things. You know?
There's so many like the Tyson ones have been almost fucking saturated more than the Muhammad Ali sound bites over the years for boxing fans, but there's so many fucking good ones even that have gone under the radar. One of my favorite ones is Don King is sitting beside him and they're out in a garden or something and they're both in like the Hollywood director's chairs and they're mic'd up, they're doing a live feed somewhere, and Don King has said something to Tyson off air to upset him and he's going fucking dull. He's ripping the microphone off and he's trying to get out of his seat. Don King tries to put his hand on his hand to tell him to stay in his seat and he's like, "Get your fucking hand off me, you fucking scumbag."
That's right. That's class. I've seen that one too.
and my favorite one ever, and it's not on YouTube, I've searched for it forever. If any old VHS stalkers have it, it's around the time, I believe it's around the time of the Holyfield rematch, or the wheels are coming off for Tyson. It's after the jail stint and he's come back and Ian Darke is interviewing him. And Ian Darke must have been absolutely shitting himself. It's around the same time as I don't normally do interviews with women unless I, fornicate with them.
Yeah.
So you should close your mouth unless you know. But he says to Ian Darke, he was like, "I don't know if I'm a bad guy. I don't know if I'm a bad guy. If Jesus was here, would he talk to me? Would he smoke a joint with me? Would Jesus smoke a joint with me?" And Ian Darke is like, Well, I'm sure Jesus would. Unbelievable.
What are you going to say to him? My guy's fucking nuts. But honestly, see if you just watch Tyson there, that interview, man, you can literally see him gradually getting fucking seething, right? And the eyes start to move back and forward. You can see him, he's twitching on the inside. And then he stops moving and he fucking focuses in on the interviewer and he's like, you can just see it in his eyes. He's like, he's going to go for it. He's going to go for it. He says, Mike, what was more upsetting for you, or more distressing, this show or fighting in the ring? He says the only thing more distressing is dealing with a rat piece of shit like you. Fuck you, you bitch. and then the guy says, Mike, don't be like that. He's like, fuck you, you hoe. And she's like, okay, we'll end it at that. And he went, fuck you.
Scared of the real man.
And he goes, so what are you going to do about it if you don't like me? What are you going to do about it? Fucking nothing. Oh, tremendous.
Gonna have to cut some Tyson clips, man. So hopefully he'll come into contact with John Fury. Then, Andy, that's the main overlying.
That's the main takeaway, mate. Yep, please walk up on him when he's no go to tablets. Please fucking sit about him.
You heard it there first. Yes, we'll get Fury against Ngannou next weekend in Riyadh, and we'll
Big John Fury publicly called out Mike Tyson before, didn't he? And said he'd love a crack at Mike now. So when Mike came back against Roy Jones, why is this not on the undercard? Why could we not get this one made? Fuck's sake.
I don't know.
Tyson looked fucking great when he came back as well, by the way, didn't he? For that fight, like,
he's having a great fucking time, man. He loved it.
What fight was that?
Him against Roy Jones.
Do you remember when Bryn come on and said Roy's knees was gone?
Aye, I remember that. That's right. Aye.
Roy got a well-deserved draw in that fight.
Yeah. Well, Roy's back fighting since, Rob. Do you remember he fought that computer-generated image from the Commodore 64?
And isn't he having a rematch against Glenn Kelly soon? That's the
That's right, yeah. The rematch we just did not need to see.
This time it's personal, mate.
Are they going to tie his hand behind his back, do you think, from the beginning of the fight this time?
Hopefully they tie both of their hands behind their backs.
Well, if that happens, that's going to end on a misfit show, that fight, if that happens.
Oh, Glenn Kelly. Right, let's move on, boys. Before Value of the Week, we had a comment coming from our friend Marcus Bellinger. He said, hey, lads, I hope all the boxing nutters, everyone in the Asylum are well. In case anyone is struggling to fill their boxing fix, the Pan American Games began a couple of days ago. As I write this, he's in Santiago, Chile, and the boxing competition is an Olympic qualifier. The Cubans are, of course, taking part, and the US have a pretty decent squad with featherweight Jamal Harvey and light heavyweight Robbie Gonzalez probably being the standouts. Feel free to spread the link below. I'll put it in the description if anybody wants to watch it. And he also says, P.S. may not be relevant, but with rumours about the new broadcasting partner for the PBC, Amazon Prime have broadcasted a handful of world title shows from Japan. So that could be something to keep an eye on. We know that the Japanese have been showing Andy on Amazon Prime. And the Japanese show is going to be coming on DAZN soon as well, but they're not in Japan, unfortunately.
Geo-blocked, mate. They fights for you. Yeah, well, I've never seen any Japanese fights on Amazon Prime. I think they must be only broadcast on Prime in Japan, I take it.
I think so. Inoue and that was on, yeah.
Because I've never seen any boxing fights and that. And I've seen some documentaries on Prime, but some of it's pay-per-view or to rent type of stuff.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Donnie.
Going for the checkout at the spa. You right there, Don?
Yep.
Trying to take the seatbelt off like Hugh Grant in the car there, is he?
Donnie, your timing is so perfect, and I'm not going to tell you why until after the show, but it's so fucking perfect. Just go on, Steve. Continue.
I will continue on to Value of the Week, episode 545. Donnie is back just in time, so we can take the piss out of him. Rapping Rob Kelly's here as well. Matty, Andy, and me, Steve. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I am having trouble playing videos at the moment and cutting them, but I have one in the bank here from a while back, which I'm sure you'd appreciate. All will become clear as Value of the Week continues, but it's a bit of classic Bunsey to play us in this week.
Ukraine, you know.
You think you're not bothered? You're going to take us?
But I had the two brothers got a restaurant there. I was going to go eat in their restaurant.
What, a couple of African guys or just a couple of black Britons?
No, the Klitschko brothers got a restaurant.
Oh, the Klitschko brothers. I thought you meant two brothers.
No.
Oh, the Klitschko brothers got a restaurant.
Yeah, they got a big restaurant there apparently, so I'm going to go have a steak there.
That's wonderful. It never gets old.
Oh,
Chisora just can't look at him after that either. It's just like, Jesus Christ, man.
It fell just short of Bun saying, "Hey, cut me some slack, Jack. I ain't with no jive talk." Just slightly short of that. Like.
Oh, we love a bit of Bun.
Couple of jive-ass turkeys for the restaurant, huh?
The Buns clip never gets old, absolutely. Talking of never getting old, forget about Father Dave. He has a rival. Meet the boxing Bishop of Edmonton. This is Archbishop Kostakis Evangelou, MBE, known as the boxing Bishop of Edmonton. Rob, born in Cyprus, he set up a boxing club for young people in North London. Father Dave was in the UK for the last 2 weeks. Why didn't they get it on?
It would have been nice to see Father Dave bash the Bishop, Stephen. Really.
Oh, good stuff. They are the punching priest versus the boxing bishop would have been quite the sight. Rick Glazer giving the AOK sign as I'm recovering from my health scare while having lunch today in Vegas with some fellow.
Look at that! Look at that! He fell there, man. Fucking hell!
I thought that was fucking Gomez and the hand from the Addams Family when I saw it the first time.
That's the face of boxing.
He's a fighter, a pint of mouth, that cunt, man. Look at him.
The face of boxing, man.
You died fucking 2 weeks ago. What's we recovering?
Must have scared the shit out of the coroner when they opened the door.
Well, that isn't even the best bit because he had a bit of a set too after this. Show Caesar said, "That's the wrong sign to throw at Rick. Please rethink that." And Rick Glazer says, "Go fuck yourself. You know it's meant that I'm okay after my hospital scare." And Show says, "Damn, just because I said it's not a good look." And Rick Glazer says, "Go jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, you mental midget."
Because the guy's accusing a fella who's married to a black woman of doing the white power hand sign there. Rick Glazer's kind of within his rights to fucking tell him to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge there.
People are just overthinking this shit way too fucking
No
much.
prisoners, says Ray. No prisoners. Good old Rick Glazer there. A beef going back and forward. Conor McGregor talking to Alvarez. Alvarez says, "You act like a little kid. You have a big mouth and you know how to talk shit well. But when the fight come, you always quit. Ha 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 ha." But Conor had said, "Saul, you uncooked chicken. I'll stomp the ligaments out of your knee joint. I don't even need hands to end you. I'll kick you raw pink. Leave you looking like you were left out in the sun too long. Freckle ass. I will see you and we will see." There you go.
Oh, I see he was out in Bulgaria this weekend.
Freckle ass.
With that fucking tea water that he sells, man. That fucking whiskey of his. But fucking hell, man. I tell you what, he looks to some fucking awful
That's
shit
all.
state,
You need to get on the forged Irish stout, and you don't tell me you're not on that. You're fucking liquid gold. You must be fucking drinking that by now, are you?
It's everywhere, isn't it?
I'm a fuck.
We need to get sponsored by them.
Who?
That Irish stout crowd, man. It's all over every t-shirt, every boxing ring. Eddie's going on about it over Twitter.
Oh, dearie me.
The next Joshua fight would
Anthony Joshua drinking it immediately after his fights and shit. He can't even take his mouthpiece out, man, before he can drink it in time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll be all getting out of the fucking stretch Lexus behind fucking Ebony Bridges, McGregor, Phil Sutcliffe, would be me, Wellington, fucking Andy, all the boys in their forged Irish stout t-shirts. All right, lads. Evening, Ed.
Happy enough to jump on board. Tommy Fury says he's done with influencer boxing after beating KSI, and he went on to say, "I would love to share the ring with Conor McGregor, and if Conor wants it next, I'll 100% share the ring with him. I'm a fan of Conor McGregor. I like him. He's a good man who got me into UFC. If he wants to share the ring, my hand is there. The offer is there. I'll have Conor next." They are, and he's not going into any more feet fights.
Tommy Fury, man. Who the fuck's he think he is pulling out Conor McGregor? Who's Conor McGregor's actually an ex-champion, whatever he was, 2
He's ready for some real challenges now. He's stepping away from influencer boxing and he's calling out UFC fighters that weigh 154 pounds.
Tommy Fury is certainly challenged.
He might get on the meat patches. Conor will kick his knees out like an uncooked chicken. That's what's going to happen. You know it, Matty. You're into the mix of boxing.
The only pity is that McGregor didn't do that with one of his Twitter voice notes like he did when he called him a fucking Barnes victim or whatever.
Hey, Mr. Eastern Head.
I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm glad that I never fucking tried that shit, because getting fucking shin kicked repeatedly, nothing about that sounds fucking fun to me.
No, not a fan myself either, to be honest.
I don't know why fucking
Bob
Connor would
Arum.
do that, though, the way that fucking his legs have reacted to shin
Mm.
kicks lately.
What did
Sounds
Bob Arum
look
call him
pretty
again?
fucking fragile.
What did Bob Arum call MMA fighters again?
I don't know. What did he call them?
Homosexuals or something?
Like homosexuals.
Oh, yes, I've got that clip to play in it. Actually, the Helwani
on the
clip.
ground like homosexuals.
That's right. Yeah, I'm going to have to dig that one out. Get us properly cancelled.
We'll leave that one till the day Eddie says he's leaving boxing, and we'll sign off with that one.
Episode 1000, we'll play that one.
It's a great thing about being 90-year-old and rich is you just really don't give a fuck and know who's going to tell you have to.
Yep, good point. Anyway, bad news here, Donny. Manuel Char versus Jarrell Miller is off. The WBA have confirmed Char's regular heavyweight title against Jarrell Miller is off and instead giving Char 60 days to negotiate a deal with a ranked fighter. Who do you want to see him fight?
Jarrell Miller. That sucks dick. Fuck this. Can't we ever have anything cool?
Why not, Donny? Why is this fight not happening?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Jarrell Miller, full of drugs, and you've got Manny Char, full of bullets.
Fight. I don't know, Fresno Kendo.
Oh, yeah, Frez. Let's get him out of retirement, man. Well, he's not even in retirement. He's training.
Do you still talk to Tom Sodus, Andy?
I do back and forward, but I don't think he's ever been the same since Steve Eister, mate, on the podcast, the manner what he did.
You're never going to let me live that down, are you?
So, how it went was this, Matt. I don't know if you ever listened to it, but Steve, with all the dignity he could muster, says to Tom Sadis, so Tom, tell me how I should give a shit, really, about Fessel Quendo's career. He hasn't fought for like 5 years by this point, and Tom started to try and get an answer out. I was like, oh fucking dear, man. I'm sliding off to the background here.
Oh well, he's not been on since, but I was right, wasn't I? He hasn't fought since that
That's
since
true.
that day.
You were 100% true, mate. But it was the way you put it across. Was like,
who was the pro fighter we had on one time, and it was either Maddie or Gabe that upset them by telling them that they couldn't punch, and they got
Tony
really
Luis.
Yeah, he got really
That was
offended.
Gabe. That was Gabe.
Tony Luis. Hands of stone, Tony.
I'm a pretty respectful interviewer. I think other people have struggled at times, but I mean, as far as it goes with Sodus, I mean, he's Greek. They're easy to piss off. They're fucking angry from birth.
Interesting comment there in the chat about Manny Char versus the Gunman by Thomas Newman. I like that idea. A rematch between Manny Char and the gunman that shot him in that Turkish restaurant.
I don't think he came off too well in the first fight, Andy.
Well, that'd be a misfit match for you, mate. One the headline. He can get
Gunman is shot these days, don't he?
Oh my goodness. Talking of shots, BoxRec rankings are shot. We've got Terence Crawford at the top there.
Yeah.
Canelo, Bivol, Inoue, yeah, fair enough. Javonta Davis, and Devin Haney, Emmanuel Navarrete, Shakur Stevenson, Chris Eubank Jr.
Oh my
sliding in
God.
at number 9.
What should it be? Asterisk next to the fuck. Aye, and obviously IFL doing the pimping out there, eh?
None of this makes sense anymore. And I told the people in the chat, please submit to me a pound for pound list. By this coming Saturday here. I would love to see that we could in the Boxing Nutters chat. You're welcome to send me one in the Facebook chat too. I would gladly accept it. But we have to be able to do at least better than BoxRec, for the love of God. That their fucking lists are just awful at times. And I know like they got an algorithm or something like that. But the algorithm is fucking awful. You need to change your algorithm.
Well, the first few aren't bad.
The first few are easy. They're easy.
Yeah.
You get that. Well, not to number 2, I guess by experience somewhat, but I think Alvarez isn't the second best in the sport anymore. I don't think there's any argument for that anymore. Anyway, is the second best in the sport. I mean, yeah, that's a dumb.
I'll be tough. Canelo probably top 5.
Yeah, I'd like probably at 5.
Yeah,
Lee Wood was number 12, says Cedric Smith.
4 or 5.
The thing with like I don't understand is like the asterisks or whatever is near Haney, Navarrete, and Stevenson. It should really be on Eubank or whatever, and then you should like scroll down to the bottom, and it was like we're just fucking with you.
Is
like, okay, all right, yeah, you got me. Yeah.
Is Cedric Smith's avatar a picture? Is that from like the intro to Cheers?
Oh yeah, I think it is actually good spot, Matty.
Making your way in a world today.
Oh dear. Good
Don't
old
go into a
suggestion.
chorus of that one, or otherwess we're gonna get this episode pulled. I'm pretty sure
Copyright.
it's copyrighted.
Wouldn't
Son of
you
a bitch.
like to get
Not if I was fucking singing
away?
it.
God damn it, dog. Sometimes you wanna go. Everybody knows your name.
Any 80s TV show, you name it, give it to me. I got it. Prisoner Cell Blockade, Street Hawk, fucking Simon
Knight
and Simon,
Rider.
Knight Rider, you name it, I got them all.
I want you to hum the theme to House.
House, I never watched that. I don't know what that is. It's an American one. I didn't get it. I know who's the boss if you want that one.
I've had
God, I
my
hate
fill,
cheese.
I've had my
I
fill
think
of
I got
Tony
it, Bill.
Danza. God damn it.
Phil, we've gone off track somehow.
Yes.
We got a brand new
Very
life,
much.
Steve, don't worry. Brand new life.
Donnie's disappeared off anyway. Regis Progray put this one up. He said, someone sent this to me and said, Bill looked like the Rougarou logo. I can't unsee this now.
Say it, man. Bill Haney is like a grater on my nipples. By the way, I just cannot take to the man whatsoever, and his son's even worse.
Aye, they're a nuisance, aren't they? On social media, especially.
Fucking fake ass, man. That's what he is.
Fake ass. Not like this guy, Andy. Ben Shalom.
Oh, mate, that was my only
year.
That was my only nomination this week for me. Actually, was going to be this side European Promoter of the Year, Uncle Ben Shalom. There we go. That's what it's all about. That's when you can you've arrived in the fucking sanctioning body fucking states that you're the fucking man of the year. Go fuck
Who the
yourself.
fuck has he beat out? Every European promoter's had a better year than him. Even fucking
Fucking
Sauerland.
Kelly Sutherland's had a better year than him, man.
It was between him, Mickey Duff, and Jarvis Astaire, Rob. Ben Shalom. He's doing his best, though, isn't he? Let's be honest. Come on, he's doing his best, this Ben.
His best is not fucking good enough, then.
For us and the rest of the fucking boxing public, his best is not fucking good enough. Jesus.
Good luck, Ben.
I mean, he's got the personality. You see, like the tea biscuits you used to get, dip in your tea, and it goes all that soggy way. That's
Which
his
tea?
personality, by the way. Rich tea biscuits, you dip in your tea, it takes that wee bit of perfection to get it before it kind of like.
He's when it
cracks
gets
off.
soggy.
After it falls off in your teacup. That's all
Falls
fucked
apart,
after all that. Well, that's what he's like. That's the personality he's got, man. A fucking soggy tea biscuit.
The soggy tea biscuit.
Beige as fuck, man. That's what it is.
I'm off why he's telling you off there.
There you are. Ben Shalom is a soggy tea biscuit, man. That's a cracker. I love that one.
Yeah, if he ever disappears, but you see a Sally Shabbat come back with a promotional organization, something might be up. That's
You
all
onto
I'm
something,
saying.
Matty? You're suspicious.
Europa League Promoter of the Year.
Into Toto Cup.
Conference League.
Oh dear. Anyway, AJ's been busy. Unplugged from the Matrix, as Rob Boxing Shoe says. Except a quick photo and upload.
Yeah, he must have had his fucking charger with him when he was unplugging, was he?
I tell you what, Aaron Rodgers has got a lot to answer for by the way. This darkness retreat bollocks and that, man. Fucking hell. Gonna be for 4 days. Eddie, you got Eddie in an interview saying, I'm really worried about his mental health just now.
Is it for me? No, finally. Was he not in Ukraine?
Is he wearing a
nice
cod?
enemy, I can tell you that much.
Is he wearing a cod piece that matches his cuffs? I don't know what the fuck is going on there.
He's really disconnected from the Matrix in that Versace robe, isn't he? He's fucking going back to basics.
Fuck the system, Rob.
Fucking hell. What the fuck? There's money for old rope everywhere. Like, how much did he pay for that? If you wanted 4 days in the dark, he could have come over here. I would have locked him in the garage for 4 days. No problem. For half the money.
It's not like you haven't done it before. Might be someone in there right now. I'm not
going to
sure.
price this up. I'm going to price it up the new right, but apparently he was £2,000. I'm not sure if that was a night or just the thing, but he says
£2,000 a night.
One second here. I'm just going to pull up this website, see what it says here. This is the Hermitage Greats Darkness Retreats. Come on, give me the price here. But see this when you go to fucking venture in it.
AJ camping out in the Ben Davison Performance Centre car park.
Ben Davis is chopping trees in the background, rolling down the hill.
What's the fucking price list? Here we go. 4-night dart retreat, 10 nights in total, 3 nights before, 3 nights after. This is in Thailand, I think.
Oh, is that where he is?
No, wait a minute, no.
£1,800. Fucking hell.
£1,800. Ah, you're talking about $2,500. Easy.
That's not shit for someone like that.
All right, if any of the Asylum nutters want to get 4 days in the dark, holler at your boy. You know what I mean? Stick a super chat in there, make a site. Make it happen.
Stick in the garage. We'll stick in the garage.
Be a dark retreat for you. I won't turn the lights on.
We'll feed you a bowl of dug meat every 6 hours.
Matty's basement.
Next time that Dom calls you, you better answer, Rob.
Here, look, Matty, Thomas Newman's carrying on the Cheers theme. He's got Ted Danson there. As he's... What's going on? Are we in the Twilight Zone tonight or something?
Kirstie Alley or the other one? What do you reckon?
Yeah, Kirstie Alley,
yeah.
Jim McDonald says, does that count as 4 days of adversity?
I don't know, but it's no nice anyway. Imagine that, get stuck in the dark for 4 days, man, and get your food fed through a fucking letterbox, basically.
Imagine this shit he's going to be coming out with when he comes out of that fucking room.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine it? Can you imagine it, man? He'll be coming out with mere fucking jargon, man. Fucking none of it will make sense.
Anyway, talking of jargon, this fan is threatening to remain on strike until the decision is reversed. KSI fan goes on hunger strike until Professional Boxing Association overturns Tommy Fury loss. To be fair, Matty, it looks like a hunger strike wouldn't do him too much harm, to be honest.
Yeah, that could be for the best.
There's KSI got fucking, implants there, by the way. They're not right.
Oh, right enough, yeah. He's looking well, isn't he? The old ditties. Don't know. Don't want to cast any aspersions. Anyway, we'll move on. Tyson Fury says, I'm looking to sign another 10-fight deal after Usyk. Boxing is definitely more entertaining when I am in it. Boxing will be fucked when I am gone.
He needs to, honestly, man, he's getting bored now. I'm fucking bored of him. He was entertaining for a good period and that, but it's just the same old pish every other fucking couple of months and that. Oh, I'm coming back now, I'm retired. I don't need to fight Usyk. I need 500 million to fight him. Oh, fucking hell. It doesn't get the 500 million, but fucking hell.
Yeah, among those 10 fights, he's going to fight Freddie Flintoff, Rooney, a few others.
Fucking hell, don't joke, Matty. Says something quite reasonable.
Freddie Flintoff calling out my son. Ball you over like a wicket.
John Fury, Mike Tyson, pop up the other card.
John Fury might have a chance of actually beating Freddie Flintoff, Andy.
I bet it might gouge his eye out.
You're gonna
controversial
see...
return to the sport for Barry McGuigan there.
Gonna end up getting Fury against Ronaldo at table tennis. That's 1 of 10.
Fuck's sake.
Someone you wonder, did he get paid for that? Because he was on fucking League of Gentlemen for another fucking 10 years, wasn't he? Fucking McGuigan probably made off with for the few quid for the charity fight. Remember that?
He's doing his best in the sport. He's doing his best. Boxing News came out with their front cover this week. Influencers, the 25 most significant black boxers in history. Very worthy cause. Damo got stuck into the cover though.
And also, if you go back out to the original, Steve, as the Nutters pointed out, sadly they are missing Caleb Plant.
And Eminem.
Forward by Paul Dempsey.
Oh, I didn't see it before. Look, he's put the guards as well above the barcode.
Kingston, Jamaica.
Yeah. The GAD is representing everybody these days. He's representing everybody.
We're coming to that. Don't worry, Matty. We are coming to that. Profile interview. Alex Pattel meets a man who is as must-see as many of the fighters he promotes. Eddie Hearn. Ask someone to name 3 people in boxing. They'll say Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, me.
My God, what an ego that man.
Yeah, I guess if you ask Eddie Hearn, yeah, maybe.
He was. I was watching the panel. Roy Keane and fucking Gary Neville, and that they had him on. And the interview was actually quite good. He was more relaxed than he was. He was a little bit more kind of less salesy than he normally is. But he was talking about when he needed an opponent for after Big Baby Miller popped, and Don King called him and said, "I've got a knockover job. Trevor Bryan. It'll be one round. AJ look great. We get the fight done." And he said, "No, I've gone for Andy Ruiz." And Don King said, "Shit, don't go for Andy Ruiz. He looks bad in his shorts, but that motherfucker can fight." So he said, Eddie said he was that fuming after the fight happened that he had a tux and all on him because it was his first fight in Madison Square.
Madison Square. What, Matty? What would come after that?
Madison Square Garden.
Right, Garden.
Oh, Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Has to be. Has to
Well,
be.
Rob has gotten smoked by Interpol once more.
Unless he meant Savage Garden, I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Lily Savage. Anyway, talking of Eddie, if there's anyone more infuriating than Edward, it's this guy. Boxing fans hooked on Tyson Fury's Kardashian-style Netflix series could soon have another show to get excited about, starring Frank Smith. Box to Box, producer of the BTS F1 series Drive to Survive, is pitching a show to Netflix where it is under consideration.
How to
There you are, Andy. How
to become a T-boy.
Who's going to watch that shit, man?
So what is it he's doing? He's producing a show or something?
Well, they're talking about some a show starring Frank Smith where they kind of follow him around day to day and see what he gets up to.
Who the fuck is Frank Smith?
He's one of the head honchos at Matchroom. Making the tea with the. They should follow the soggy biscuit about Andy instead, old Ben.
I bet he knows how to fucking dip the tea biscuit in the fucking breaking into the tea and that at the right moisture levels and that. I bet Frank Smith knows.
Aye.
When Eddie Hearn's barting about the fucking the boardroom with the body shots and that.
If they can't sell that, Matty, then they're going to have a hell of a job trying to sell this. Boxer, NBC Sports. US fans can now watch me fight live and exclusively on Peacock. Flip me, Peacock's going from bad to worse, Matty, man.
Peacock will be fucking having sleeps that fucking glass eye shortly, man, with that fucking
I didn't sign up for Lawrence Okoli. Take him off. I prefer no boxing over Lawrence Okoli boxing.
Matty didn't buy pay-per-view for this, but he
I'm
might have bought it. He might have
gonna
bought it
watch
for this.
people in close contact. I'm gonna probably watch like two naked women in close contact. I don't want to watch Okoli.
Interesting that you might mention that, Matty. I'm gutted for you that you didn't get the call for final Belly of the Week nomination because you're the man for this job. Delighted to have been asked to be an ambassador for women in boxing, which has an important role to play in the boxing world. This is the respected resonant voice in fight sports, print, radio, television. It's Gad, the women's boxing ambassador.
From Kingston,
They
Jamaica.
took my job.
Should have been you, Matty.
It should have been me. I can't, go up and ask them if they fucking shower before fights and shit like that. The fuck? You're gonna give this guy greater access? That's fucking stupid. It's like letting a fat kid into the candy store at night.
Well, you never know. He might do a decent job. We're all big supporters of the Gad here on this show. So, I mean, if he can do the job.
Jade can't. You know what I'm saying?
She certainly can't.
Brother Buns. Yes, we know what you mean, Brother Buns.
In Bob's garage dungeon. That's all the ones I've got, Matty. Do you have anything to add to the party?
I just think it's hilarious that it's easier for me to watch DAZN on my computer than it is to watch it either through an app or through my television. Nothing about DAZN makes sense to me. It's very interesting that for the people that got the recent KSI Tommy Fury fight, that there was a subscription to DAZN included in that, and if they don't notice it, it's going to be charging them $9.95 for the next whatever many months until they unsubscribe to it, apparently. So sorry for that, UK people. Just madness.
No, that's a good one. So I actually forgot. Well, I uploaded it, but it disappeared, as I've mentioned before. But you're quite right, Matty. I'll anonymise the person who put this in, but he said there's going to be a shitstorm of pissed off DAZN customers in a few weeks' time, which should prove entertaining. They sold the Fury KSI for $20.99 in big buy now letters on their website, but only $19.99 was for the pay-per-view. The extra £1 was stated in small print for the first month of a 12-month contract as a regular subscription, which continues at $9.99 after each month. When people are billed $9.99 next month and get told they're in a 12-month contract, unable to cancel, there's going to be backlash.
Seriously?
Apparently.
You're signing
this
up
is
for
the talk
something
that I'm hearing.
So remember, folk are signing up for something that they maybe just no read quite properly at the time of buying that fight.
That's what we're being told. I don't know the validity of it, but let's just hope it's true.
I heard a story about an American actually who was actually even thinking about doing a lawsuit against the zone for some of the shit they've been doing.
Really?
Oh, I imagine there's more than one.
Yeah.
Must have too much time on his hands, that fella.
I know, but this guy's got his own lawyer, mate. He's a specialist in these kind of thing.
Lionel Hutz.
Oh, I bet. Hey, friend of the show.
There are kinds of evidence.
I'm not wearing a tie at all. Anything from you, Andy, this week? Value of the week?
One for Eddie Hearn, mate. He's had Dave Lee and Ozzie Smith having a nightmare this week, man. But Eddie said they fell for it. So Eddie's show apparently he said done 8,000 apparently last night. He had it fucking curtained off. Top shelf was curtained off. The lighting, we all saw it. They
should have curtained off the ring.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah. It looked like it was less than fucking 8,000 there, without doubt. Poorly attended again.
To be fair, Andy, Eddie's probably fairly used to getting blown from behind a curtain.
Okay. By whom,
actually? The Zone nomination for them. Anything else, Andy?
Nothing else for me, mate. But one for John Fury, I suppose. I think we've already mentioned him, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like somehow we're losing people left, right, and centre this evening. Donny's gone. Rapping Rob Kelly's disappeared. Let's go through them quickly, and then we'll close up for the evening. So we had the boxing bishop of Edmonton. We had Rick Glazer going in on Show Caesar. We had Canelo Alvarez beefing with Canelo with himself. No, with Conor McGregor. We had Conor McGregor being called out by Tommy Fury. We had Char versus Miller is off. Chris Eubank Jr. slid into the top 10 of the box rec pound for pound. We had Bill Haney looking like the logo. We had the promoter of the year, which is the dripping biscuit. We had AJ unplugging from the Matrix, and there he is again, spending 4 days alone in a pitch black room, and has paid £2,000 for the experience. We had the guy going on hunger strike until the KSI decision gets reversed. We had Fury talking bollocks again. We had the influencers, including the greatest influencer of them all, Bunsey. We had Eddie talking shite in an interview. We had Frank Smith's new television show. We had a Coley on Peacock. Yeah. And finally, we had Gareth A. Davis, the women in boxing, and DAZN. Quite the merry band there, Matty. Who are you going for? Episode 545.
I got to go for Bill Haney looking like Progray's logo. That's fucking quality. It's rather uncanny.
Could be his greatest achievements in boxing, Andy. Who are you going for?
I want to go. What was the couple of ones just before you got to the GAD there?
We had Frank Smith on the TV. We had Coley on Peacock.
Coley going to be Peacock, but I did like the one about the Bishop as well. With Rob's comment bashing the Bishop.
That was
a good one. But I'll go with Coley. I did see someone saying they brought it up in the chat there as well. I had seen the actual comment myself. It says this: Coley will be quite popular with the American audience because he liked the wrestling as well. So he might just come across as what they need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rob, you're back just in time. Do you have any nominations? If not, who are you going for Value of the Week?
I had a nomination, but I'm after fucking forgetting it now. So I think AJ in the Panic Room, like, no more fucking appropriate name either for a man who fucking could benefit from spending some time in a Panic Room. Anthony Joshua, who disconnected from society for 4 days at the cost of £2,000 sterling in a Versace robe. And when your life gets flipped upside down and then back upside down when you're in the dark, it gives you a better perspective on life. So these things are sent here to test us. Hopefully it'll come through the other side. And, I think fucking if Anthony Joshua is not going to fight Deontay Wilder, he probably should just go off into a fucking dark room somewhere, shouldn't he? Like, what's the fucking point of him other than that? Like, Jesus Christ, can we get this fella into a fucking decent fight instead of into a panic room? So, AJ there.
I just have to give advice to AJ from what I've seen from people I've known in my life. You got to be careful in Southeast Asia because you might end up knocking up a prostitute, and it's rough.
Yeah, it is rough. Well, I'll tell you what else is rough. Andy went for Lawrence Okoli. Matty went for Rougarou, but it's a dramatic turnaround because I'm going for the same as Rob, actually. I'm going for AJ as well in the dark room. So congratulations to you, Anthony Joshua. You are the Value of the Week winner for episode 545. And that is where we should leave it. Just very briefly before we head out, I know we have a bit of a laugh at the end of the show, but just on a sadder moment, Irish boxing legend Hugh Russell died last week. He was an Olympian, member of the British Boxing Board of Control, all-round good guy. And I'm sure Kevin Byrne won't mind. He put this up on his Facebook a couple of days ago from when he'd interviewed Hugh on the Rocky Road podcast. And I just thought it just epitomised boxing and sometimes the way we think about it. Hugh Russell told Kevin, he said, people only want to attach themselves to winners. In this game, as long as you're winning, people will be behind you. When you get beat, they won't want to know you. I beat John Feeney for the bantamweight title in my dressing room in the Ulster Hall. You couldn't have gotten into it. There was more in the dressing room than there was at the fight. I think it was 27 days later when I defended against Davey Lama and was beat. There were 4 people in my dressing room. It was nearly a year to the day later. I won the flyweight title back and all those people that were in the first day were back. You learn. People just want to be with success, especially now fighters get written off if they were beaten once. People don't give you a chance. So I thought those were quite nice words there from Hugh Russell regarding the state of boxing. Hugh passed on Friday the 13th, I think it was, so rest in peace to him. And that is where we should leave it, everybody. Thank you very much to Matty for coming on, for Rob Kelly, to Donny and to Andy as well. Let me just give a shout out to the super chatters, actually, because I forgot about that last time. We had Kaiser Koba. Thank you to you, sir. We also had Ryan Deal and we had Ricky Graveal. If you haven't left a super chat, that's fine. Hit the thumbs up. Let's get over 100, shall we? We had 2,500 listens the other week, Rob. We had 87 thumbs up. I mean, that's
Ricky's paid in Mexican pesos now, isn't he? He's not doing pounds anymore. Pounds or something.
MTK Enforcer Rick Graveal. Yeah, hit the thumbs up if you can. Give us a subscribe if you want to, because you love the show. I will not be here next week. I'm away, so hopefully the boys, Matty will be in the hot seat, keeping things going. Jump on and join him if you want to. I've been Steve Wellings. We'll catch you all again for episode 546. Same time, same place next week. And bye.
Bye, Tin Man.
We'll never forget.
I think that's good at me.
Go to Adam Move! We want to be honest, yeah?
Crying like a little bitch. I've never met a fucking swank that can fight me.
I fell asleep. I fell asleep.
You're a fucking bum, you're a fucking asshole.
Rumpo fucking Steltskin.
But allegedly, Oscar Rivas has failed a test.
7-year ain't it? 7-year ain't it? I won't fucking smash fucking you.
I hope you fucking die.
Be safe.
I love boxing sounds, as simple as that.